Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me as ever is Stanley Tushy.
Ooh.
Or Stanley Touchy. Touchy Stan?
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
makes
Stanley
sense.
Touch.
Yeah.
Stanley Touch.
Stan touch.
Stan Touch.
Stay and touch?
Yeah.
Stanley Touchy. Touchy
I
Stan.
was in the Hunger Games.
Aaron Joseph Peter.
That's me, dude. I'm also the Zodiac Killer.
Whoa. Oh, because your new glasses.
Yeah.
That's a
Cool.
good guy.
The Brodiac Killer, bruh.
I look forward to the day when one day police officers are no longer referred to as pigs.
Sir?
Now, across the way from you, what do we got over there?
What we have over there is a failure to communicate.
Cape
What?
God, Gape God, handsome
okay.
Matt Brousseau.
Hello. Hi, boys.
What's up, buddy?
Ah, the French.
The Frenchman.
Henchman. What's up?
Not much. What's up with you? What's going on?
Fucking chilling, straight
Yeah, dude,
chilling.
fucking living up in
Maxing.
this fucking Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
You guys were doing a Patreon while I was finishing my writing.
Yeah, we were. We were talking about pornos.
Pornos.
What?
Crimes. Alleged crimes.
Crimes.
Oh, God.
The foreskin of Christ, resurrected.
Uh-huh.
It's delicious.
And it tastes...
It,
It's sweet. It's sweet is what they say.
uh-huh.
And you can't touch it. You can taste it. You can swallow it.
And you can do that 100 times in a row, no more, no less.
And it'll make you feel good.
And that's part of the Pope's new decree that.
Oh, with the gay couples?
Yeah.
No.
It's part of that.
This was
Go back to the 12th century.
This was a
okay.
young woman's concern. She was
chicks, man.
she was swallowing that new good foreskin.
She was just pondering upon the foreskin of the Lord.
She was going, okay, like he's a Jewish fella, right? And that gets cut off.
When you're a
But
babe,
when you get resurrected, Daddy,
does it come back?
does it come
Or
back?
do you come back resurrected in whole?
And she was told, yes, it does.
So they have to do it again.
So she kept swallowing the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, is it like gum though? It just you never break it down.
I mean, I don't know how she kept swallowing this fucking thing. It was like everlasting gobstopper.
With fucking
Slugworth.
Slugworth.
Oh, God. Slugworth kept
Good day, sir.
Gentlemen, here we are at the precipice of the holiday you call Christmas. I call it,
Navidad.
I call it, the solstice celebration or, whatever pagan shit I'm into.
That's cool, too.
It's cool, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Nighttime is the right time.
You said it, man. Long live the fucking beast. And we got ourselves a profile on our hands here, Matt.
Yes.
And it sounds like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Well,
Titan.
a Titan.
A Teen Titan.
This was recommended by listener Paul.
Hey, Paul,
Hey,
thanks.
thanks. Ain't that just like Paul
Yeah.
to recommend a good...
Paul with the good Christmas suggestion.
And I wanted to thank you, and he just asked to be described as a god among insects.
He wants to be described as a god among insects.
I wanted to call him a god amongst incest.
Well, that's also an option.
Oh, my
make sure I didn't
God.
read that wrong.
And a god amongst incels.
Tell them I'm
Yeah.
a god among insects, which is... It sounds like he's got a giantess fantasy.
Oh, God, squish me, squish me.
I'm nothing.
Tennessee,
Uh-huh.
their relatively most searched term was giantess.
Giantess. Yeah.
Giant testicles?
Attacking a
No,
50
no, giantess, like a female giant.
Yeah.
Like
probably, yeah.
actress.
Sure, yeah. That probably makes sense for them.
Anyway, thank you, Paul.
Yes, and so I found this, and I was worried that the book, there's only, well, you know what?
Just jump right
Fuck
into
it.
it. Dive right in,
It's right
pal.
here. So I set a little thing up for you here.
Okay.
So while I was working on this, I kept getting back to this idea of deserve, right? John, I know you have thoughts about deserve.
I feel
Comes
like
after dinner.
I deserve a lot.
It's too really.
Cheesecake,
Okay.
apple pie a la mode.
Uh-huh. I have a lot of thoughts about deserve.
Yeah.
How so?
You talk about deserve, you're like, oh, deserve, it's a loaded word.
I guess I say that. I don't know that. Do you know
I
that?
cannot confirm nor deny, but I'm going to just go with Matt on this one.
Because,
I think he's talking about how the white race deserves this country.
Do not love me.
I think that's what he was talking about.
No.
We deserve our retribution.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Great replacement.
It's a forceful karma almost, Like you're demanding that there's some sort of karmic retribution for something.
Yeah.
Either the good or the bad.
I do have a lot of thoughts about revenge and that's true. I ruminate.
Okay.
I ruminate.
Yeah, look at
People getting what they
I
deserve.
just had to mention a couple things, and here it goes.
It's true.
Shut up about
I've been having a lot of aspartame.
and Ozempic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's double whammy.
I'm not having any Ozempic, just for the record.
Dude, fucked you up.
So, there he stood, the boxer, good in his time, never great, better than most. Maybe a ceiling never reached, You know that slow building anguish of attempting something, and it's long coming, and you get close and you can almost touch it, and you can't get there, and it's gone from you forever. Like, an athletic pursuit.
Sure.
Sure.
Or an artistic pursuit.
Yeah. Or the foreskin on your tongue.
What is it?
You're lucky. Now, this guy, he had fought some big names. He got his name in the papers. Local dailies, Springfield, Missouri, and Fort Myers, Florida.
Fort
No
Myers,
way.
shout out.
But that's who he was. That's who he was when he was heavy with muscle, and he could speed bag the ball bags and go 10 rounds.
Oh. So there's none left in it?
There's nothing left in him anymore. 'Cause that's who he was, not who he is now. His current shell, skin hanging loosely off his skeletal frame. Endurance gone, sickle, pale, searching for an answer that brought him to this point. And the last years that his body had been failing him, disease, sharing the symptoms with 100 possible causes, maybe deserved an answer for that.
Deserved.
So the boxer, he asked the fat man in front of him. He said, "Hey, fat man." And the fat man was staring down the last gun he would ever see. He was asked if he had an answer for the boxer. And the fat man, either he didn't know, or he didn't want to share the answer, or he didn't care enough to actually know the answer. And so the boxer responded to that, as this deserved, with a pile of bullets again and again and again, because there's no ref to jump in when you're shooting a man in a hotel room.
No. There should be.
Yeah. Oh, King, he's pulled out a revolver.
And these bullets destroy the fat man further than any destruction the boxer has ever felt in his life, personally.
God.
And the boxer's answer to his lack of answer, the fat man's, was violence, short, brutal. And the boxer had killed the cause of his problems, even if he had not discovered the solution to the problem itself.
Okay.
And now with murder, he's added another problem.
Oh, boy. The law.
So he might as well erase all of his problems, and he takes the gun,
Uh-oh.
and he puts it in his mouth, and he pulls the trigger.
No.
Oh, no.
And that's,
This is a calamity.
yeah.
Did he deserve it?
Good question.
That brings us to this story. The main source is from John Houghton, from fantastic book called The Years of the Locust.
Oh.
A bunch of archived newspapers throughout the South and Florida,
Oh, yeah.
and a Vice article from maybe 2 years ago. So we start with the fat man. His name was Rick Parker. He was born in Springfield, Missouri on June 24th, 1955. Never knew his father. His mother trained guard dogs, worked nights, and spared no love for her kids. He was basically raised by his half-sister Diane. She was 3 years older, and he basically learned that he would have to take care of himself throughout his life.
No.
As a child, he arranged his friends to mow lawns, and then he pockets the money.
Damn.
I deserve this.
In 1968, he's age 13. The family moves to Lakeland, Florida.
Been there?
Diane marries just to get out of there. And at 16, Rick he drops out of school, and he teaches himself how to hustle pool. He calls his cue Sneaky Pete.
Ooh.
And he was a big boy. He was pretty tall, very fat. And he basically rode throughout the South. He would work a town until he had bled it dry, until people started chasing him.
Uh-huh.
He wears out his welcome in Central Florida. He works his way through Missouri and Georgia, Mississippi, and then back to Florida. And so he lays a trap for days on a group of suckers, and he wins $10,000 from them one night, and they find out where he's staying, come out here with a machine gun, but by the time they get there, he's out of town.
Oh.
And after a couple of years of this, he meets a girl, they marry, they move to Orlando. One day he's visiting a neighbor when he spots in his neighbor's bathtub this green goo.
Oh, ectoplasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Slime.
Ghostbusters.
sure.
I know.
And the guy tells him it's actually cleaning solution.
Ah.
If you got oil on your driveway, sure. If you got a stain in the carpet, sure. Does it actually work? That's not important. What's important is that it looks like it works.
Oh.
So he starts selling what he calls the green, door to door.
Green.
49 cents to make, $49 to buy.
Oh.
That is cocaine markup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it's not that different from bull sharking, going door to door as a salesman.
Yeah.
You know, it's a quicker con.
Damn. We gotta go do that before Christmas.
He starts a company called American Safety Industries. He sharks from housewives, and when he's on the road, he buys an electric keyboard and teaches himself how to play and sing. And he thinks of him one of his three heroes, Elvis Presley.
Who are the other two?
We'll get there.
Oh boy.
And he eventually buys a big red wig with a pompadour.
Oh.
And
Conan O'Brien.
Yep.
his company grows. He eventually has crews running from Florida to Los Angeles, and he teaches them to sell using what he learned from another of his three heroes, a man named Zig Ziglar.
Oh, Zig Ziglar, yeah, very famous sales strategist, self-help book author.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ziglar was a salesman in his early 20s and a motivational speaker in his 30s, and then he would just do that the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Talk, keep him hooked.
Yeah.
It's just bull sharking with motivation.
Right.
Now, by 1980, Rick Parker is now 25. He's making about $2,500 a day. It's about $9,000 a day today. $3.2 million a year. Wow. And
Selling
he's
green stuff, and amongst other things,
selling green stuff.
just the green.
Yep. He has got this big company now.
It's not even simple green. It's just green.
And nobody knows if it works, apparently. You can't keep this shit fucking...
I don't have enough bathtubs in the world.
Yeah.
They build bathtubs because of me.
Yeah.
And he's spending it lavishly. The money he's making. Strippers, drugs, a limo, a driver,
Oh.
bodyguards. Oh, $50,000 of jewelry he wears every day.
Damn it.
He decides he wants to get into music promotion. He starts setting up concerts for Bon Jovi and Rat and the Allman Brothers.
All right.
Yeah. Tease.
Round and round.
Yeah. They have music in Florida, apparently.
I know.
Call it that.
Yeah.
And then one day, he's on a flight to Vegas, and he runs into his third hero on the plane, Don King.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, and Don King, that's a story that I'll tell you on the Patreon. Some real scoundrelry with this Don King guy. You would never believe it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably deserving his own profile.
And so he's on the plane, and he chats up Don King, and he tells him about the music promotion and the cleaning business, and King says, no, that's no good. Too many people to pay. Too many bills. Just, there's no
Rip
good.
off one guy.
Yeah, and King says the real money, here's the real money. Get into boxing, find a white guy who can punch or at least take a ton of punches because America wants to see him fight a black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great white hope.
So in the summer of 1986, Rick Parker is now 31. He's in L.A. when a friend of his from the Allman Brothers group introduces him to a boxer named Tim Anderson.
Oh.
Tim Doc Anderson, because he had a degree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's about to get that knocked out of his head.
Yeah, it was a bachelor's.
Yeah, no, it was not.
It wasn't a
He was not.
It was a GED when he got out of the ring.
Hard knocks. Anderson, at this point, he's 28 years old, 13-5 at that point in his career, fighting at cruiserweight, just below heavyweight. Former minor league baseball pitcher who had taken up boxing and found that a little bit more control over his life. He was never going to make the majors. Didn't throw hard enough. He was 6'1", and he was white. And Rick Parker said, God damn it, you're the guy. The first time he meets Rick Parker, he's brought to the hotel they're staying at, and Rick Parker's in the bar lounge playing piano and singing.
Yeah.
And everybody's crowded around him. And he's like, this is the guy? And he's like, that's the guy.
Is he wearing the wig?
Got his big red pompadour on, his chains big fat face.
Jesus.
Really wearing a big red pompadour wig.
Yeah, but
Come on, man. Think about it.
It looks real.
Oh, it's okay. He's trying to pass it off.
Yeah,
as-
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to pass it off.
He's got the
It's-
chains.
Yeah, it's not like a
love this
Halloween
guy,
costume.
man.
I do. This guy's like the fucking.
Guy does all the same shit you
He's
do.
like Buster Poindexter. Is he like it hot, hot, hot? Just imagine him doing
God.
driving a cab in Scrooged.
Yeah, big dumb rings.
Yeah, a lot of jewelry.
Oh, so stupid.
And definitely huge cock, of course.
Oh,
with all
God.
the accoutrements.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big cock ring.
Yeah. Guys with big cocks always wear tubes, lots of jewelry,
Yeah.
tons of jewelry.
Fucking bejeweled
Yeah.
Prince Albert.
Uh-huh.
You know, think about that thing.
Big suits, cologne.
Fucking Prince Albert with like rubies in it.
Blood diamonds.
Oh yeah.
They weren't blood diamonds before.
Jesus Christ.
So in 1987, Fat Rick Parker, he goes on the road with boxers Tim Doc Anderson and Randall Tex Cobb, Cobb's manager Joe Derrick. Randall Tex Cobb, he could take a punch. He once went 12 rounds with Larry Holmes in a 1982 fight, so lopsided that in the ninth round, Holmes hit Cobb with 26 unanswered punches. It was so brutal that Howard Cosell, who was calling the fight, announced afterwards that he would stop announcing ring boxing fights for the rest of his life.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Did he die?
No, he didn't die. And you know Randall Tex Cobb because he is also an actor.
I do know the name.
This is the guy who got the beating?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, from Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this guy took a bunch of beatings from Larry
That is
Larry Holmes.
that's the guy on the motorcycle that shows up Mad Max style at the end of Raising Arizona, folks.
And here he is. Here's Randall Tex Cobb on David Letterman, 1982, just a month after the fight.
No shit. Well,
Well, David.
now I see had a bit of trouble in the ring there.
You have Jewish writers,
And
David?
now that you've had nearly 2 weeks to reflect on it, what do you think?
I'm not sure, but I think I lost.
If you were to fight Larry Holmes again, what would you do differently if you would do anything differently?
Well, I would certainly do something different. You can bet your butt on that. No, there's a lot of things. I made several strategical, technical errors.
Very
I
likable
basically
guy.
just had a bad night. You know, I didn't get any of my offense to go. My basics weren't.
Here's where he talks.
Side commentary announced that he was never going to cover a heavyweight fight again. Did you hear that?
Yes, I've heard that since the fight. I didn't know it at the time. Otherwise, I'd have had two parties.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You always come back.
Yeah. Little levity.
I've never seen a man
Did you
so
talk to Howard before the fight?
Yeah, we spoke briefly. We spoke in an elevator, and he told me that he thought it was exceptionally distasteful that he had to work during the holidays and stay away from his loved ones, his family. I told him I could understand and appreciate his point of view. You know. I got the thank you note from his wife.
I love it.
Yeah. And he was on Carson in January talking about the fight too. Then, so he was
Yeah.
he was
Well,
he was on
he
Carson
has a
3 times.
collection on
He was on
Letterman.
Letterman 3 times.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know, a guy like that.
Wow.
I've been on all those shows 0 times.
Not a single one.
Larry Holmes has never fought you.
Yet. Let's go, bitch.
And so they're going on the road. This collection of Tex Cobb and Fat Rick Parker and
They're just going fighting.
yeah. And this is from John Houghton. White boxers become Rick's vision, Rick's dream. He names his dream the windfall factor. Millions and millions of dollars all at one time, all in one night. These visions obsess him. Fat Rick does what Don King told him to do. He dips his toe into the boxing business. Tim goes live with Joe Derrick in the condo, goes to live with Joe Derrick in the condo on the beach. Tim becomes Tex Cobb's training partner. Tim tells Rick that Tex can still fight. Joe Derrick gets Rick into cocaine. Cocaine rocks Fat Rick's world like nothing else.
Oh boy.
When he does it, he says, "This is how Don King must feel."
But he just
This is what Don King must feel like all the time.
Yeah.
It certainly sounds and looks like it.
What is Don King's like phrase again? He always says
Only in America.
Only in America.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, I couldn't. I was like, what is it? America is the greatest. Only in America. Yes.
Dude, this doing a line and saying this must be what blank feels like
Yeah.
is just a setup for funny.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's good. And this, I imagine this guy still stayed fat despite all the coke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's bad times.
So they go on the road, and they start working on the records. Now, Tex had beaten Frank Lux earlier in the year, but then they arrive in Springfield, Missouri, where Tex knocks out Frank Williams, who was really Frank Lux, fighting under another name.
Oh.
And a mask.
Tim knocks out Dave Carrington. Then they go to Fayetteville, where Tex knocks out Stan Johnson, and Tim beats Bobby Ellis. Then they're in Richmond, Kentucky, where Tex knocked out Frankie Albert, who was really Frank Lux.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh God, they're doing a big switcheroo.
Yeah, well, it's just you got to get
You gotta get the numbers up.
Yeah, because you got to get in order if you get a title bout.
The laptop.
Oh yeah. In order if you get a title bout, you gotta have wins. You can't lose.
Yeah.
And these
And so they're just padding his stats.
they're
Yeah.
they're basically they're
And
padding.
there's not like there's a fucking internet to look it up.
No,
It's just like papers
Yeah.
and flyers.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
fans don't even know.
No. No, I mean that's like you could throw up a boxing show in like let's say Bowling Green
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, it's fucking Frankie Lux and Jimmy Dean,
Yeah.
and you go like, here's their numbers, and you go like, well, it looks like
Looks like a boxing match.
a professional boxing match. I guess I'll go.
Yeah, then you go 40 miles away, do the same thing,
Yeah.
different name,
Yeah.
different people.
And some places like Oklahoma don't even have a boxing commission.
Right.
So is boxing illegal or super legal?
It's so legal.
It's basically illegal.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So by the end of this run, Tex
So
Cobb.
legal they should make it a crime.
Yeah.
We never thought it would.
We didn't know these guys would come here and start beating the shit out of each other.
We didn't know we needed a law for that.
He's talking about two guys for money beating the fucking shit out of each other.
We didn't know we needed to make rules.
Yeah, rules.
Fuck.
I don't know.
So
Our top search is cock dick. Sex cock.
was that what it was?
It was seriously sex dick.
Yeah.
It was so guys on the Patreon we did do the most unique to the state
Pornhub year in review.
Pornhub year in review and Oklahoma easily stole the show with the stupidest.
Sex dick.
They wrote sex dick.
Others are very stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause,
But
like-
that's very special.
Yeah, everybody just has like a third grade education. They're like, I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to do this. What do I put in there? Sex dick or something? Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't write any queer shit.
How do you have sex?
Yeah.
With a dick.
Jesus Christ. Sex dick.
Maybe it's like sex hair or bedhead. Like, I just want to see some dicks that just got fucked. Man, he had a real sex dick when he came out the shower, didn't he? I mean, he walked out of his bedroom into the kitchen, and he had the biggest case of sex dick I ever seen.
This guy with the gold chains and all that, he had cauliflower ear and sex dick when he came out of.
Cauliflower ear and sex dick, tennis elbow, the whole nine.
This must be what Don King feels like.
So at the end of this run, Tex Cobb, his records went from 25-7 to 33-7-1. He's added 8 wins in 9 bouts, 1 no decision. He fought 9 fights in 3 months.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, but he
Fights.
Yeah, he was fighting,
Shadows.
Yeah, Frank Lux.
Yeah.
Luxy Frank.
yeah.
Jerry the Barber and,
And Jerry's barber.
Yeah, Barber Jerry.
Captain and Tennille.
Yeah. And along the way, it was just a party. Rick, everywhere he went, he got strippers and cocaine, and he just spent his money. And
Did he keep it away from his fighter?
He always took his cut.
No, I mean,
He means the lifestyle.
Yeah, did he shield his
Oh
fighter?
no, absolutely not. No, if anybody wanted to join, they were always welcome.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, one of his things that he would do throughout his career would be that he wouldn't always pay his fighters, but he would always pay for their meals and
Right. Keep him on the hook.
yeah. But they finish up the tour, and then in Independence Day of that year, about a month or two after the tour, Joe Derrick, Tex Cobb's manager, he kills himself.
Oh.
He'd been stealing from Tex.
Oh shit.
Tim Anderson finds the body.
Oof.
Rick stays on as Tex's promoter, and he stays up all night doing cocaine.
Coming up with good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big brainstorm session.
Tim becomes Tex Cobb's sparring partner, and he works as a bodyguard for Rick. And he tells a story of one time Rick thought one of his underlings was stealing from him.
Uh-huh.
And so when they were all at a club, he called the guy and all of his crew together, and they went out on the parking lot, and they circled around this kid. And Rick threatened him with a gun and told him to confess what he'd been doing. The kid said he hadn't been doing anything wrong. So one guy,
I've been fucking your sister.
one guy from Rick's crew walks into the middle of the circle, puts a gun in the kid's mouth, and pulls the trigger.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
And everybody scrams. Tim calls the cops, and then
You weren't supposed to do that.
yeah.
Fuck.
And Tim doesn't know whatever happened. Doesn't know if the kid lived.
That. Put a gun in his mouth, pull the trigger.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd be a story if he did.
I know.
Yeah.
I think they would put that on the records
Yeah.
locally. Man survives death.
Yeah. I ate the bullet, sir.
Overweight man seen in vicinity.
Yeah. He's fucking hustling away with his fucking
Clank, clank, clank.
cherry Elvis hair and fucking
Yeah, well.
bejeweled penis.
Don King doesn't have to put up with this shit.
I think Don King did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
try to kill Don King.
I think he was putting some guns in mouths
Yep.
too, though.
Yeah. That will
The guns
will
is
come
dick.
up.
What?
Here, I'll give you guys a little taste here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, he looks like a fucking wrestling man.
Yeah.
It looks
he
like
does.
Rick Parker. Yeah, or that is Rick Parker.
And that's a toop.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
good.
a big old toop.
Yeah, he looks like Davy Crockett up there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, fucking Jesse Katsopoulos.
And he's got like what, purple glasses?
Grandma glasses,
Yeah, yeah.
big grandma glasses.
Those things are cool, and he's got a big old red beard.
Yeah, big like
Yeah.
quadruple
So
chin.
so the wig is at least matching his real hair.
Yeah. He has enough money to match.
That's fucking cool, man.
this guy,
This guy looks pretty fucking cool, and I'm sure he's gonna be a good guy.
yeah.
Yeah, you can already tell.
I can already tell he's gonna be a real good guy.
So now, back to 1987. November 1987, George Foreman is 3-0 in his comeback.
My God.
He has seen God.
He has named 4 girl children George.
And
He's dreaming about
Of the grill.
The grill.
The grill.
and he says he wants to use his comeback money to fund his charitable endeavors.
I believe that was yeah. They just made a movie about it.
Did they?
Yeah,
About the grill?
they just made a movie about the Foreman comeback.
You know they offered that grill to Hulk Hogan first.
That's right. That's right. He was too
He's too busy fucking his friend's wife.
He's like, no, I'm gonna sue a tabloid later.
feel like a pig.
And the manager of Foreman for the beginning of his comeback is also Tex Cobb's manager.
Aha.
So Rick Parker talks his way into becoming Foreman's promoter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Come on, champ.
Big fat George Foreman washed up.
Yeah.
Still hits like a fucking Mack truck.
Yeah.
Weighed 350 when he started his comeback.
Yeah,
You go, well, okay. That's George Foreman.
that's
Oh,
George
okay.
Foreman.
Yeah. Well, okay.
That's Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he sounded kind of like that.
Okay.
Got
Oh,
it.
well, okay.
He did.
Well, okay.
Listen to the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't have like a booming, deep voice.
No, and he was very sweet.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
teddy bear
Yeah.
who could punch a hole through your
Just
fucking
always,
chest.
always
Absolute
smiling.
brutal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like the size of the man is just astonishing. It's fucking.
Yeah, even if you block the punch, it still hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
He's just punching you into punching yourself.
It was. I think the first guy that I saw like that was like one of those. Where I was like, that's like fighting a tree.
Yeah.
You know
what
I
are you
mean?
gonna do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just.
He's just that much bigger.
Yeah.
Massive. Like,
Yeah.
he has more mass than you.
Yeah.
More you. It's like the Earth and the Sun. Like 1 million of yous could fit inside him. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
I know. I guess become one of them Keebler elves or something.
Move right in, I guess.
Can I help with the foreskin, sir?
The George Foreskin Grill? Just spitballing ideas, sir.
So,
Whatever it is, it's non-stick.
It's non-sex dick.
So they got George Foreman, and he's on his comeback tour, and they want to give him a heavyweight title shot. Because all Rick really cares about is he wants that heavyweight title shot, because if you win, Rick gets what he calls the windfall factor.
Yeah.
It's you do all these little dink and dunks
Yeah.
to get to the fight, the title fight, because when you get that payment from winning it, that exceeds everything
Yeah.
Right, of course.
you put in.
And even losing it, like, you're guaranteed money.
Yes.
Yes, but not nearly as much.
Not nearly as much as the prize. Yeah.
And so they need to get Foreman a bunch of wins. And so one of the guys they then choose is Tim Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Anderson bulks up to 210. Foreman eventually gets down to like 243, 240. And-
Still huge.
Yeah.
He's what, like 6'4"?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Oof.
And here's the Tampa Tribune write-up of the fight afterwards. Orlando, drunken fan number 1. George, you still got it. Tyson better watch out. Drunken fan number 2. You ain't shit, George. You can't box. Tyson will kill you. And so he's this David Alfonso. He writes that he calls Tim Anderson certainly fit, a puffed-up light heavyweight. Fat middleweight might be more accurate. Anderson got hammered pillar to post in the 4th round by Foreman before referee Mike Boggs halted the beating.
Pillar to post.
Anderson, 28, was said by the promoters to have a 23-5-1 record. More reliable sources put a record at 17-6. All the losses, even a couple of wins, had been to fighters still breathing when he fought them.
Huh.
Not dead men, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Foreman, they went 4 rounds, and it was a TKO where he just couldn't go on anymore. And Foreman gave him a hug afterwards and said, I didn't get that much action out of Joe Frazier.
Wow.
Frazier only went 2 rounds when they fought.
No way. Wow. Oh, that's true. He kept fucking whooping Frazier.
Yeah. And then there was talks that this Frazier, there was that Liston who was the mob ties.
Liston was very tied. Frazier was humiliated by that fight,
Yes,
for real.
yeah.
He was absolutely devastated. And his son talked in that documentary about thinking his dad was joking. Because he was going down like so fast, so quick.
Mm.
And he's like, he knocked my dad down twice. He's like, the first time I was like, Daddy, quit playing.
Well, I think the last one he hits him, he like basically knocks him off the ground.
yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so terrifying for Ali going into. But anyway, that's another story.
And so Foreman hires Tim as his sparring partner, and Tim also gets $3,000 for the fight.
Nice.
Good.
About $8,000 today.
Yeah.
Just
To fight a giant
yeah,
professional killer.
to get your ass kicked.
$8,000
Yeah, not a lot of money.
to go in front of people
Yeah,
and have your ass handed to you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
By
beer,
this old tree.
I mean, if it was a giantess, maybe.
the beer was $250 there. 4,000 people.
$8,000. Fuck.
Yeah, not a lot of money. But Foreman wins his next few fights. Tim does too. Tim's going, hey, things are okay.
Hey, it's not
I'm
bad.
hanging out with George Foreman.
I'm Foreman's opener.
Yeah. And then Rick sets up a match between Tim Anderson and a man named Jimmy Young at the Lee County Civic Center. Where, John?
Lee County Civic Center
Yeah.
in Fort Myers, Florida.
That's fucking right, John.
Yeehaw.
Ever heard of it, pal?
So Jimmy Young had knocked out Foreman in 1977. And so Rick wants Tim Anderson to fight Jimmy Young. And Tim finds this out before the fight. He finds out that Rick wanted Jimmy Young. Rick was also managing Jimmy Young. And
Yeah.
he wanted Jimmy Young to beat Tim Anderson to set up a Jimmy Young Foreman bout so Foreman could beat Jimmy Young and avenge his knockout from 77.
Wow.
And that would only propel him further closer to the... So Tim's going...
Higher and higher.
Tim's going, so my manager set me up in a match to get beat in order to promote his other client.
Right.
Some
Bit of a conflict of interest.
Some manager I got.
The other guy's got a good manager.
A bum like me.
Yeah, he has his own clients for it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's funny, we got the same manager. Mine sucks. Mine's great.
Yeah.
A few days before the fight, Tim arranges for himself, Jimmy Young, Floyd Patterson, and John the Beast Mugabe to go to Fort Myers High School and give the kids an anti-drug talk.
Hey.
And to also score some drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as they're
the kids.
Yeah.
right before they walk in there, Rick Parker pulls up in his limousine, face full of cocaine, entourage full of hookers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, some manager. he's
Career day, kids. Get in.
Yeah, I think the talk went a different way. Anyway, well, you
A
got
lot
to do
faster.
it.
You guys
than
all look like you beat the shit on death's door. This guy on drugs just pulled up in a fucking magic carpet.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try me some of that cocaine.
Cola.
Now, Tim doesn't take these situations very well. He takes that on Jimmy Young the next day. And Tim Doc Anderson beats one of the former great heavyweights at 10-round split decision, greatest win of his career. His record stands at 27-6-1 or 22-9, depending on who's counting. He's feeling good, and he tells Rick to stuff it. And Rick says, well, we got a contract. So Tim takes the contract, brings it to his accountant, and the guy says, this is the worst contract I've ever seen. So Rick says, okay, I feel bad. I'll offer you, he said, I'll give you $10,000 to fly to South Africa to fight Pierre Coetzer. And here's a picture. This guy is, what a look.
Pierre.
I'll give you $10,000 to fly to South Africa. Stop right there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice mustache.
Yeah, look at this guy.
looks real good.
Not a real big guy. This is a heavyweight
So
guy?
we see a blue-eyed white boy with an absolute cigar of a mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, a fucking
And he's not
giant caterpillar.
not too heavy set though.
No,
but
he doesn't look giant.
He fits the body. His body fits.
Right.
Yeah, no, he looks like a big in shape dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not like if you were to think of George Foreman or Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson, you don't see that as he doesn't strike you as a heavyweight.
No, I wouldn't say so. No,
But he is. He is.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably all in his ball.
I mean, he's probably about 220.
Okay, sure, big enough.
And Coetzer's 22-2, and he's trying to rebuild his heavyweight title climb after losing his last fight. Because he wants to he's built up his record in South Africa, and he wants to then
fighting all white.
I don't know, but he wants to then get a title shot outside of there,
Got it.
and so he's building up his record. So Tim flies down alone. The trainer Rick was supposed to send never shows up.
Shh, fucking motherfucker.
Tim's driver then tells him that Rick is on the take. They offered Tim $20,000 to fight, and Rick took 10 of it.
Oh, good driver.
Yeah. And the driver tells Tim that Rick's never going to send that trainer. The night of the fight, Tim's in his dressing room. Two cops walk in and ask him if he's going to lose. He laughs and he says, no, I'm going to beat the piss out of this guy. One of the cops takes his gun and smashes him across the nose with it.
Are you gonna lose
Breaks his nose.
before the fight?
Yeah.
He's gonna lose now.
I think that was kind of the point.
Then Tim, nose
I think
broken.
he's already lost.
Yeah. Nose broken, head swimming, goes out in the ring. He gets knocked out in the second round. After the fight, he's then, they blindfold him, put him in handcuffs, fly him to another part of South
Are you
Africa
kidding me?
before they eventually give him his $10,000 and fly him home to Florida.
He
Whoa.
got money. But they kidnapped him, blindfolded him, and took him somewhere else.
Yeah,
Just to fuck. That's just to fuck with you.
probably, yeah.
Well, I mean, if he just wanted to come to
He
the
was telling the
track.
cops, like, yeah, they handcuffed me, they blindfolded me.
They took me
They
somewhere else.
They took me somewhere else,
Yeah.
and they gave me $10,000. They definitely didn't touch me in any weird butthole
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't fuck with me that way in any sort of sexual manner.
But I will tell you, I thought I was going to have to suck my way out of there.
And I thought about it.
And I thought, yeah.
And I offered.
And yeah.
And yeah, I offered.
Once
Yeah.
I was taken to the second location, officer, I thought I was going to have to suck my fucking way out of there, boss.
I thought I was
And
going to
then-
suck my way out of apartheid South Africa. I go through those fucking berries.
And that was just for my freedom. You know what I mean? To get to 10,000, I thought I was going to have to do a lot of jacking off, too.
Yeah, jiggling the balls.
You know what I mean? Them watching me jack off, me jacking them off.
Like them spitting on my mustache as they face fucking my gullet.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. They're spitting on my mustache. Jesus Christ.
It's funny.
That's a fucking monstrous visual. They spit on my mustache as I sucks their cocks.
I know they face
Dude,
fucking.
Whoo! As they face fucked my gullet. I know you're gonna correct me. Yeah, dude, that's pretty fucking good. What state is that from?
The state of mind.
Holy, anyway. Sorry, that might be a bit of an overshare.
Anyways, guys,
Yeah.
I went home.
Yeah.
I'm doing, you know me, I can't complain.
As they face fucked my gullet. Woo, yeah. Anyway, it didn't turn out that way. They just gave me a check for 10 grand.
I told them I would do it,
No problem.
but it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's a picture of Tim Anderson.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God. This guy's got a fucking neck on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He looks
does.
big. He looks big.
Yeah, he looks
About
big.
6'1", 210.
Oh, maybe bigger.
Yeah, I was going to say taller. But yeah, the whole thing is like, we're talking like, oh, that doesn't look like a heavyweight. But like, yeah, they're just in good shape. That's why they don't look
Yeah,
like...
they're proportioned well.
Exactly,
So they have to move.
Yeah. So fucking gross. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So,
That's
Tim
good.
Tim Anderson flies back to Florida. He stops boxing for a bit. He starts bouncing again. Meets a lady. They marry. They move in together when she's pregnant, and then they split when she loses the baby.
Oh.
He takes 2 more fights for the hell of it. He loses both. He meets a new woman. Moves in. Splits. Moves out. She dates Rick Parker just to spite him.
Oh.
He sits down with a friend. They do some math. They figure that Rick Parker owes him about $178,000, about $460,000 today.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Rick Parker's just doing his thing. Setting up easy fights for George Foreman. It's 1989. Foreman's next bout is against Smokin' Burt Cooper, one-time rising star who fought his way out of contention years ago. Rick sees Cooper as a perfect for Foreman, but he wants to be certain. So 2 days before the fight, there's a knock on Burt Cooper's hotel door. Standing there are 3 hot women and a pile of booze and cocaine. They stay for the next 72 hours straight.
Oh, God.
Foreman wins when Cooper doesn't have the energy to answer the bell for round 2.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How far in advance of the fight did he send?
72 hours.
Oh, so they stayed there doing the drugs right up until the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta see this fight.
And he's getting his fucking hog pinched and everything.
Yeah, and there's spit all over his mustache.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
no, they did
that
that?
guy did have a mustache. That's true.
Yeah.
They did
That's
that?
Tim Anderson. That's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
Burt
sorry.
Cooper.
So, but
I do have a picture of Burt Cooper. Let's see.
he had
Let's see if he has a
he had
mustache.
one of those powdered mustaches.
Mm.
Well, yeah, Rick Cooper has a.
And they spit on it.
Burt Cooper has a mustache.
Let's see that thing. Oh, God.
Oh my God! Look at this fucking dude behind him.
What, Rick?
Yeah, Rick. Yeah.
Rick looks exactly the halfway between Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes. Have you noticed that? You and I,
Yeah, it looked like-
and I have gone round and round. This time, Mr. Flairs. Dude,
Bring your A game,
he really does.
dude.
He looks because he
It looks like Ric
Dusty-
Flair got stung by a million
it looks
bees.
like it looks like Dusty Rhodes is like, I'm gonna try to be like the rich yuppie for a day.
Yeah,
This looks like you,
He's trying to join the Horsemen.
This looks like you couldn't fake this picture.
No,
You couldn't come up with this picture in a think tank.
no, and he looks fucking Count Gacula too.
Yeah.
Rick, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Kang the Conqueror over here is gonna beat my ass. Bring your A game. Friday Night in Flint.
After the fight, Foreman beats Burt Cooper in. Foreman leaves Fat Rick for Bob Arum. Bob Arum, he's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's a famous promoter. In the 60s, he was assigned by the Justice Department to look after the winnings of the first List and Patterson fight. And after claims of a fixed fight, And Aaron must have seen something he liked because then he became a boxing promoter.
Ah.
One of his famous quotes is, "Yesterday I was lying. Today I'm telling the truth."
Wow.
So, scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not the best guy.
Nope.
Not a good guy.
Not a good guy.
After Foreman's next fight, one of Rick's bodyguards jumps out of the crowd and shoves serving papers onto Foreman's chest. Foreman finishes the fight and he's walking back down to the tunnel, and Rick's bodyguard hops out of the audience and serves
Oh,
him.
no shit.
Wow.
And Rick is suing him and Bob Arum. Arum buys out Rick's stake for $150,000, and Rick's stake in Foreman for $150,000. And part of the agreement is that Rick reneges on all previous claims to Foreman. In the process, anyone who had a stake in Foreman through Rick is completely cut out and loses their stake. There's one bar owner who Rick convinced to put in a 10% $50,000 share.
Jesus.
Bar owner lost all his money and his
course.
bar.
Oh, my God.
Jesus. Yeah, so a lot of people happy with Rick.
Yeah.
Good dude. It's all
Good
good.
guy.
It's all good.
Yeah, is Rick there, please?
He probably didn't owe any money to any coke dealers or nothing.
No.
Or pimps.
No, they were good guys. Those were
He
donations.
cashed out.
Yeah.
Those are donations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Later in 1989, Rick Parker meets Rob Rusin. Rusin has a stable of heavyweights he's managing. He agrees to team up with Rick and becomes a vice president of Rick Parker Presents, a promotional company.
Yeah.
Smoking Burt Cooper is part of that stable.
Yeah?
Yeah. The same guy that Rick covered with coke and spit and whores.
Yeah.
Now he's managing him.
There you go.
So then, working together, Rick gets a tip and sends Rob up to Harlem to find Mitch Blood Green. Now, Mitch Blood Green was once one of the top 4 heavyweights in the country, and then he lost to Tyson 3 years earlier.
Shit.
But Blood, one day after the fight, found Tyson walking around Harlem in the street,
No.
and he went up to him, started harassing him, chased him around. Tyson punched him, hit him in the face, knocked him down, and Tyson's his folks went to Mitch Blood Green and they said, "Don't sue him. Here's a letter that if we promise one more fight with Mike Tyson. We promise you a rematch."
Wow.
So Rick hears about this and he says Rob Rusin up there to get this letter
No.
and get Mitch Blood Green in their stable.
Wow. This guy just being an asshole in public. Now it's like an enterprise.
Yeah.
It's become an enterprise, and then people are trying to get the letter. Like this is
like the white trash kingpin.
But this is like a thing too, where you go like, "Oh my God, these people on the fly just realize he'll get sued, or we're paying one way or another."
Yeah.
So
We might as well make money if we're
God,
paying.
that's so crazy. Exactly. We might as well. Yes, we might as well make money. Yes.
But Mitch Blood Green has to
get into
have a comeback.
contender
Yeah.
position.
Because Tyson's going to have the title. He's not going to.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be like, "I thought about the park and what happened around the
Therefore,
park."
I will offer to beat you in a more public, more fantastic fashion.
I still want your heart. I still want your children. All that same shit.
I
Still
still
applies.
beat you in submission in front of, just
I'm-
Friday night in Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still on Zoloft. That's to keep me from killing y'all.
I don't take it. I don't take it the day of the fight.
In the most ferocious,
Furious fashion.
So eventually, Fat Rick does get the letter, and he gets Mitch Blood Green by offering him a $5,000 signing bonus and $500 a week, plus a furnished apartment and a car. And all Blood has to do is get in shape and fight some schmoes. They hold a press conference where Mitch Blood Green denounces Don King and Tyson, and he does it all while wearing a shirt that says, "Mike Tyson is a homo."
I'm gonna fuck you till you love me. Just for saying that. Just for wearing that piece of apparel now. Sorry that I have to fuck you till you love me.
John, can I have a beer, please?
You can have whatever you want, man.
Well, I don't want
like
to.
one.
I'm not going to spit on your.
Okay.
I won't spit on you until you give me one. He spat.
He spat on his mustache before he swallowed his sex dick.
So now Parker keeps trying to set up fights, and Blood keeps backing out of him. And
Mitch Blood Green is such a series of savage, blunt words. It's Mitch Blood Green.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got
Isn't it?
Yes.
It really
Yeah.
is like,
it's,
it sounds like getting punched.
Blood green.
Yeah.
Bang, zit, pow.
Yeah.
Mitch Blood Green.
Zip
Mitch
that
Blood
up.
Green. It's really hurting me.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Blood green is people. There's people.
So eventually, Rick does get Blood onto to show up to a fight, but instead of fighting in the ring like he's supposed to, he spots one of Tyson's trainers in the audience and he chases him through the building, saying, "Are you a cocksucking gay guy like Mike?"
Oh.
And he chases him through the audience.
Right.
Gay guy.
Right. It rhymes with maggot.
Huh?
That's you know what he's saying.
Yeah, I do. He's saying,
Gay guy.
yeah.
Gay guy.
And this is a Rick Parker Presents promotion, and I'm pretty sure Tex Cobb and Bert Cooper fought on cards on that night,
Wow.
but he couldn't get Mitch Blood Green
to cool it.
to not chase the
And
guy
not-
in the crowds.
Not inquiring whether he's a cocksucking gay guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this new boxing commissioner in Florida. I think his name is Don Hazeltine. He's there. He sees all this, and he's like, I don't know about this Rick Parker.
I don't know about all
And
this.
he sees these shenanigans, and he's going, oh,
Yeah.
something.
Fucking Benny Hill.
Yeah, Yakety Yak is playing.
There's a picture of I think it's Ali and Frazier running in Yankee Stadium, wearing their boxing gloves and shorts,
Yeah.
shirtless, and they're chasing each other playing tag, and they're both having
Oh.
a very nice time. It's a very funny.
Acting like a couple of
Yeah.
gay guys.
yeah.
Now that's cute.
Playing grab
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Grab ass is fun.
So Rick Parker, he after this he vows to dump Mitch Blood Green. He wants to work full time with Smoking Bert Cooper, and his big right hand. $50 Bert, he called him.
$50 Bert.
Because Rick paid him $50 a day with the daily money transfer.
Oh,
Because he said 50 was enough for dinner and a six-pack, but not enough for hard drugs or gambling.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
enough leash is what we
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bert Cooper lived in a trailer park in Missouri or something like that.
Got it.
He was a heavyweight title contender for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Dude, I mean, that's, some.
this mustache isn't going to get spit on in itself.
People in those high, fancy hotels don't want to spit on the mustache. You gotta come down to the trailer park.
Yeah,
People don't have television. They don't know who I am. I might as well be the spit man for all they know.
it's easy money.
It's easy money.
$5 back then. That's like
Yeah.
$10 today.
Forget about it.
Back when I was a kid, we used to just sit back and imagine different animals and creatures that we would see in the spit reflected off of our father's mustache.
Oh my God.
Like, oh, that one looks like a duck.
Jesus Christ.
So Rick, he for Bert Cooper, he gets Cooper a cruiserweight title bout. Smoking Bert Cooper wins. Next match, he loses it, but it's enough for Rick to get Cooper $75,000 to fight Riddick Bowe in Vegas.
Fuck.
Riddick Bowe is an Olympic silver medalist, 19-0 at this point.
And this fight is for $75,000
This fight is for more than that. He gets 75
of
just to fight.
just to show up.
Yeah.
But the prize is significantly more.
No.
Oh.
That's probably the minimum, or maybe he doesn't get anything for losing.
Oh.
He just gets that for fighting. And then if you win, you get
Right.
the prize.
Got it.
$75,000 to fight Riddick Bowe. And Smoking Bert he's got this big right hand that for a lot of guys,
like Hellboy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's when he connects with that, sometimes that's
Lights out.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he hits Bowe with one of those. Bowe stumbles, doesn't fall.
Ooh.
And Cooper, the thing about Smoking Bert Cooper, he had no stamina.
Yeah. I can only use this trick once.
Yeah.
Well, he's a smoker.
Yeah.
And a Joker.
And so the longer the match goes, if he doesn't knock the guy down in the first 2 or 3 rounds, he's in trouble. So Bowe eventually he doesn't fall. He knocks Cooper down in the second round because what happens is Bert Cooper shows up in Vegas with Rick Parker, Cooper's girlfriend Dolphine, and their corner guys. And during the match, the first round, Cooper almost gets hit because he's scanning the crowd looking for Dolphine.
Oh.
And in the second round,
Where is she?
he's looking for her, and she's not sitting where she's supposed to be, and he gets hit by Riddick
wait a
Bowe
minute.
and knocked out.
Yeah. Where was she?
Do you think that was a long con type of psychological warfare as well?
No, I think Rick was just sloppy.
Yeah, Rick should have been on that.
Yeah.
He's not focused, and
As I turn around, Dolphine is giving head to Don King. And he's got a big sex stick. And he's going, only in America? Well, Dolphine
he's waving little flags while he's
his mustache is wet. Mine's bone dry. I'm getting punched in the face.
This must be what.
This must be what I feel.
This must be what George Foreman feels like. Jesus Christ.
So Cooper gets knocked out in the second round while looking for Dolphine. By the time he leaves Vegas, he's gambled away his $75,000.
Oh.
Matt, do you know what the number one relative search was for the state of Nevada?
Yeah, guess. One word. It's so lame.
Blackjack?
Vegas. Yeah, that bad.
God,
The number one
Yeah.
relative search term for
On
the entire
on
state of
Pornhub?
Nevada. Yes,
Yeah, on
on
Pornhub.
Pornhub.
Yeah.
That's just people who forgot Pornhub was open and thought it was Google.
Yeah.
That's like people that live out of Vegas
Yeah.
and are going like,
What's going on over there?
Yeah.
So fucked up.
A lot of
over there.
swingers and
Probably
stuff
having
like
sex
that.
right now.
Vegas.
Oh my
What's going
God.
on?
They think Vegas is synonymous with just perversion.
Same,
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Mm.
It's no sex dick, but it's fine.
No, it's no sex dick or giantess. Wasn't one of them swinging boobies?
Bouncing, I think.
bouncing
Yeah, that was
boobies. Bouncing
Kentucky.
boobies is cool.
Bouncing
Yeah.
boobies is cool.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really.
It's really taking us back to like
I mean, it could be a
1971.
typo. It could be bouncing babies, and that would just. I think they have a filter.
No, it's bouncing boobies. These are good people.
Good.
These are good people.
So,
Glory hole.
after this loss, Fat Rick Parker, he scans the horizon again. Foreman gets his title bout against Holyfield in 1991.
Fucking crazy.
And Rick Parker sees this and he's going, God damn it, that could have been
Yeah.
I could have been
Could have been a
could've
been
contender.
money up
Of
there.
the contender.
Yeah.
And so he
I'm a
remembers,
fucking chicken tender.
he goes back to what Don King told him and he goes, okay, fuck it. I gotta find
I gotta find a white boy.
I gotta find a white boy. And so he sees that former New York Jets linebacker or defensive end Mark Gastineau
Yeah.
has announced that he wants to become a boxer.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah, he had some hot. Yeah, he had a hot wife and
Bridget Nielsen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Somehow, after he started dating Sylvester Stallone's ex, he decides he wants to become a boxer.
Yeah, weird. Oh, and they did that boxing movie together. That's right.
Mhm.
Didn't him?
He was with Brigitte as well.
He was during that movie.
Um,
During that film.
Stallone.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And then later on, she hooked up with a man named
Flavor
Flav.
Flav.
Beautiful. It's
Who have you?
only in America.
And they called it it was. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you saying that.
It's a flavor of love.
yeah.
Yeah. But what was the original one? It was like Strange Love?
No, it was called Flavor of Love.
No. That was the dating one.
Oh right.
I think the one where it was the two of them was like.
it's called Strange Love. That's disgusting. Apocalyptic.
I think it was like it was something like, hey, isn't it weird that these two are together?
Yeah, some.
And it happened because of Celebrity Big Brother
Yeah,
or whatever
some-
they were
oh,
doing.
yeah, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rick Parker calls Gastineau's family and reps, and he offers them $5,000 a month, and he'll pay for the trainers. And said, I'm gonna be your promoter and manager and all that. I don't know manager, but at least promoter. He's the guy who's gonna get the fights for him.
Yeah.
And he sets up Gastineau's first fight. It's against a former wrestler named Derek Dukes. It's Duke's first fight.
Dukes.
And before the, I'm pretty sure it's his only fight too. Before the fight, Fat Rick enters Duke's dressing room and says, as soon as there's a stiff breeze, just get out of there.
Take a fall.
And with Gastineau's second punch, he knocks Duke off his feet, seemingly dead.
Oh.
The video is reviewed by the Virginia Boxing Commission and cleared as all good. Rick calls Foreman's people. They laugh, but they say, hey, you got a 12-0. Maybe we got something.
Uh-huh.
And here's a video of that knockout.
The dive taken.
Got an ear.
This is Gastineau versus Foreman? Whoa.
You see, that was the whole fight. The whole fight lasted 18 seconds, including the 10 seconds it took to count him out.
What?
Wait, who just took a dive there?
The guy that got punched.
Why did it say Mark Gastineau versus George?
It's a whole. Don't pay attention to that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, this doesn't.
Just watch
make
the video.
sense Who's here?
Okay, but what fight is this?
This is the first fight. This is the fight I was just telling you about.
Got it.
Watch how he falls.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't. He gets tapped and then falls a second later.
But he falls with his feet kicking out.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a very cartoon fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He falls like Dick Van Dyke falling over an ottoman.
It falls like a wrestler falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was his first fight.
It's pretty bad. It's
and
pretty
last
bad.
Fight.
And that's Gastineau's first fight. He just needs 11 more, and
In a
maybe he can
row.
get Foreman.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. In April 1991, Tim Anderson, remember him? He gets a fight with Larry Holmes.
Oh.
Holmes is trying to make a comeback. Anderson doesn't get through the first round.
Does Anderson have Rick?
He's still. I don't know how he got this fight. He had a different manager at this time.
Okay.
This woman Susan, I believe it was, who he was working with. I think he was a bouncer, and he met her through the people who were there. And he's like, oh, okay, she seems
like
good.
Coke? Cool.
Yeah. No, he wasn't a drug guy.
Oh.
And he gets a fight with Larry Holmes. He gets TKO'd in the first round. Holmes just catches him with some, it's Larry Holmes. After the fight, Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick and Larry Holmes had a fight a few years earlier. They get into a fight in the street.
Shit.
After they're separated by cops, Holmes runs around the cops, runs on the top of over two cars, and 2-foot jumps into Berbick to continue the fight. This is after he just fought. I mean, he didn't get hit that hard, so he must have been feeling up for a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Parkours over cop cars.
He jumps onto them and runs over the top of them, and then 2-foots Berbick from the top of one of the cars.
Like Kung Fu?
Yeah.
Like 2 foot together.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Good. Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Either one.
Either one.
That's probably Street
Tekken.
Fighter. In the Street Fighter.
Tekken. Dude, 2-footing somebody has got to feel amazing.
Did he do it off the top rope?
Yeah,
Off the top of a cop car?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
come in with
Oh, King! He does it.
2
He
feet?
bypasses the turnbuckle.
Dude.
He's at the turnpike, for Christ's sakes, King.
That's the thing, like, if I got 2-footed off the top of a cop car, as he 2-footed me, I would go down knowing how cool it was. I'd be like, ah! Like,
shit.
Yeah. But
Only remember. This must be what Don King feels like.
Holy America. Well, you get your own ass beat.
Pulling out the sparklers and
Yeah, your concussion on the ground, you're just shaking the fuck.
Some fucking gimp getting fucking ass destroyed. Holy America.
Jesus.
Just getting
His ass destroyed?
A gimp getting absolutely impaled. Holy America.
It's not completely related to the story, but
at all.
But I felt like it was just a good anecdote to bring in, and
It
is.
It's
Awesome.
a very good anecdote to bring in.
totally paid off.
St. Over, bitch.
Yeah, I think the newspaper, they asked him about Holmes about it, and he said, Berbick's a punk. I'm not going to fight him in the ring. He doesn't deserve that.
Oh,
Good reasoning.
In November of 1981, Holyfield is scheduled to fight Tyson for the WBA heavyweight championship.
81?
91.
Okay.
But in training, Tyson breaks a rib.
Hmm.
So Rick Parker faxes and calls Holyfield's people 5 times a day.
Fuck.
And they go, no, forget it. And they find this Italian guy. The Italian guy sprains his ankle while training. So they reach out and they say, Rick, we'll give your guy Smoking Bert Cooper a shot. We won't give you the 750,000.
No.
But we'll give you 350,000.
That sounds good.
Hey.
Now, Bert hasn't trained for a month.
Good idea.
The fight's in like
Rest. Rehabilitation.
The fight's in like 5 days.
Recovery.
5?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and he's fighting Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
Good. Best. You know what? Pray. Stay prayed up.
Yeah, you got to pray today just to make it today.
Yeah.
2 days before the fight, he gets the flu.
Who?
Bert Cooper.
I was hoping you were going to say Holyfield.
Rick finds a doctor who prescribes flu medicine and also can take a bribe.
Shit.
Oops, I can't do it. He prescribed me Tamiflu.
Yeah.
I'm
But
thick.
you just can't have the news. You can't have anybody know that he's sick because then he won't be able to fight, and that means you don't get paid.
Shit.
So the fight goes on in November of 1991. In round 2, Smoking Bert Cooper, catches Holyfield with a right, and Holyfield stumbles and grabs onto the ropes.
Yes.
He's never been knocked down before.
No.
And he almost went down, but he holds onto the ropes.
Hops up on flu medicine and cortisol.
Not Holyfield.
No, I'm talking about this
Bert,
guy that landed
yeah.
the right. He's on
Yeah,
cortisone.
Smoking Bert Cooper, yeah. And
I can smell the Robitussin off him.
He's robo-tripping me.
it's a WBA heavyweight championship, World Boxing Association. And ref Mills Lane, he gives Holyfield a standing
I'll allow it.
8 count.
No way.
Even though WBA fights do not allow a standing 8 count.
No.
It was in Bert Cooper's. He should have been allowed to just go over and just finish the job.
No
No.
way.
But Mills Lane calls a standing 8 count when they're not allowed in WBA.
Whoa.
What the fuck is that about?
I don't know. Mills Lane, regarded as, quote, the best boxing ref ever, even though one of his
Oh, dude, he went on to fucking referee clay people.
his most famous bout, a man bit an ear.
Yeah.
And yeah. And he said it was
And
okay.
then he went on to referee celebrity deathmatch.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was demoted from human beings, then to wrestling,
Yeah.
and then to clay people and brisk
And they died in
iced
that.
tea.
They would die in that. Do you remember?
That's exactly. It was a great
It was a
program.
It was a death match.
great program.
People would actually die, Matt. Clay people.
Clay.
Small clay people would die.
We're all just jars of clay.
And so Holyfield gets through that round.
Good guy.
Against all odds.
And then in round number 5, Bert
Playing
gets
fucking patty cake with Mills Lane.
And Holyfield's getting in his shots. You know, Cooper can take a beating too. But in round 5, Holyfield is again on the ropes.
This guy didn't train, and he went 5 rounds with Evander Holyfield. That ain't
That's
nothing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking nut. That's
Well, he
nuts.
went more than 5. So in round 5, Bert has Holyfield on the ropes again, and he's hitting him. And as this is happening, Mills Lane again stops the fight because he says there's a tear in Holyfield's right glove.
Oh,
He says there's a phone call for you in the back, Mr. Holyfield.
it's your cousin,
Yeah.
Marvin.
Marvin Holyfield?
I think you should take it.
Mills Lane orders Bert Cooper to a neutral corner while the glove is fixed. Holyfield's trainer starts unwrapping the wrong glove.
Oh, my
whoops.
God.
We need more time now.
Yeah.
And then he wraps that one back up, and then he takes off the right glove that is torn,
Yeah,
and
free break.
he wraps that up again. Meanwhile, Bert Cooper's just chugging air,
Yeah.
dying from the flu.
Yeah. Watching fucking Dolphine go ham fucking sandwich on Don King's fucking hog monster.
His cock dick.
And you know she could stay down there for so long because she's a dolphin.
Yeah.
And she doesn't need to breathe.
Don King's denying it while I can see it happening. He's going, only in America?
Well,
I don't know.
Sometimes in South Africa, too.
Holyfield gets through that round, and round number 7, Bert just all his endurance is gone. Bert Cooper, and he starts huffing and puffing. Mills Lane stops the contest after Bert takes 23 consecutive shots to the head
Jeez.
from Evander Holyfield.
Damn.
And that's the closest Fat Rick Parker and Bert Cooper would ever come to a real championship.
Pretty
title.
fucking good. You're fucking got the flu. You haven't trained.
7 rounds.
And you got 23 shots from the fucking champ to the dome, and you're like, I don't feel anything.
It was a flu.
Yes.
This is what I hope Don King feels.
Yeah. God damn, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, Bert Cooper. Smoking Bert Cooper. Pride of, where? Pennsylvania? I forget.
I'll tell you something, man. I want to see that fucking right hand at work now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We can pull
And
that
I'm
up
not
at some
talking
point.
I think that was this. I think that was for Louisiana. Right
Yeah.
hand at work was
I
their
see that
slogan.
right hand at work.
Yeah, Cooper fought, I think, until like 2012 even.
Are you fucking kidding?
He had a too long career.
Yeah.
But, he was always broke. So then after the fight in 1992, Don King tries to take Bert Cooper from Fat Rick.
Huh. The balls.
And Don King's going, no, he deserved the title. This is the title. He should have had it.
That was Obama took over.
Yeah,
from that guy?
I'm sorry, man.
Should
Should've had it.
Should have had it. It's a burst to lose. And he had the flu.
So Fat Rick and Don King, they meet up with Don's son. Don King shows up with a briefcase full of bills still wrapped in their Federal Reserve wrappings.
Smart.
Oh my God.
Smart.
And he says...
How do you get that?
Only in America.
Actually, I don't know. I think you can get that in Switzerland.
Yeah, probably. That's
And Iraq, definitely. That's just on
Big
pallets.
time.
It's just sitting there.
Sure.
Yeah. We use it to sit on.
And Don King offers him a deal. He says, hey, I've signed Bert Cooper to 2 fights. I know you already signed him to the next 2 fights, but I signed him to 2 fights. How about this? You get on my payroll, and then you just, renege on your old deal.
Eh,
Yeah, how about that?
And
all right to me,
Give up
Pop.
on your dreams and become under my heel.
And
Yeah.
Bert Cooper was supposed to fight Michael Moore, and both of these guys are working their ways back to the next title bout. Right?
Yeah.
And Rick gets sued. Fat Rick gets sued for $3.5 million for reneging on that deal. Bert Cooper wins his first fight under King and Rick.
Wait. You're saying Rick got sued, or is he?
He's getting sued for reneging on that deal, the other deal he had.
Got it.
The deal before King, the one King told him to get out of.
Yeah.
Smoking Bert Cooper wins his first fight, knockout in round 2. And then Don King, who had given Rick this money up front and also 2 checks post-dated with the rest of the money he said he owed him. First check bounced. He says he meets up with Fat Rick, Don King does, and he says, you don't get the rest of the money unless Smoking Bert Cooper fights the second fight with Razor Ruddock.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure what was happening here, the Fat Rick knows Razor Ruddock is not a guy for Smoking Bert Cooper to fight. He's small and he's big, and he would beat him just because the matchup doesn't work.
Right.
And this all these names, all these guys is all Tyson adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yep.
All these guys
Oh, yeah.
go on to
There's
fight
only a
Tyson.
few guys around. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Fat Rick says, no dice. And Don King says, he says something to the effect of like, it's a roll of the dice, isn't it? And also he says, also, I canceled your second check.
Whoa.
So then there's this whole big back and
P.S.
forth.
The dice are loaded.
So then Rick and Cooper renege on the deal with King, and they go back to the other fight with Michael Moore. And that's the winner gets a vacant WBO, not a WBA title. Don King then sues Bert Cooper. He sends guys to the apartments he's staying at and threatens his life. Bert Cooper has to move his training grounds 3 times to 3 different states to get away from Don King.
Oh my God.
Don Cooper then sues Don King. Don King gets so spooked that at one point he calls the cops and says, there's guys at my house trying to kill me.
I think that was totally done sober.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sound.
I think he was feeling like Don King.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he was feeling quite himself.
Cocaine snorts Don King.
Yeah.
And it wants to get lifted.
Yeah, when it wants to get a burst of enthusiasm.
And he
Raise up some gator tails of Don King.
and he tells the press, he's like, Bert Cooper's a crazy man. Not to be trusted.
One of the craziest motherfuckers of all time.
Not to be trifled with.
Man, I'm sorry. I do have to pee soon, so I just...
Yeah, okay. Cooper and Michael Moore do fight, and Cooper knocks Michael Moore down twice, once in the first, once in the third. Moore knocks Cooper down twice, once in the first, once in the fifth. And with that last knockout in the fifth, it's an incredible fight. It's worth a watch. These guys are just fucking slugging the fuck out
I love
of each other.
haymakers.
Just absolutely brutal. After the knockdown in the fifth, the fight is called. Michael Moore wins. And again, Rick Parker and Bert Cooper miss out on another title.
God damn.
And this is the last time. I should a little wrong last time. This is the last real chance they'd ever have in one of these titles. And let's just end it. We'll take a little break after I tell you that by April 1992, Fat Rick has got Mark Gastineau to 9-0.
Hey! Wow, we follow up on this thread?
Yeah.
It's like episode of Lost or something. Yeah, just when you think you've moved on from the thread of
Then we get through that hatch door.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, hey, look who it is. It's that guy from the hospital.
Remember that?
Me?
Remember that suave Frenchman?
Remember me?
Mark Gastineau?
Yeah.
No.
No.
What, he's not French?
No, he's a
Gastineau?
He's a big dumb New Yorker, John.
Yeah.
Gastineau.
Somebody way back when was French.
By the time you play for the Jets, you're not French anymore.
No, dude.
You're living in Long Island. You have a mullet.
Gastineau, he's French as a motherfucker. We'll be right back, folks. And we're back. The boys.
Oh, hi.
Now on Amazon Prime.
Now, there's a guy I've been waiting to show up, and I don't know if he will. But there was a boxer around this time who was a white guy that my grandfather...
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather was very much like one of those guys who was like ready for...
He's the great white.
Oh,
one.
yeah. So
this is the guy that got knocked out fast by Tyson and when they did the pizza commercial.
Was it Jerry Cooney?
I think it might have been Jerry Cooney.
No. That was Gugliotta. Was that Gugliotta?
Mark Gugliotta?
Yeah, well, no, Andrew.
There was such a small
Is it
pool.
weird Italian? No, the Italian guy?
Yeah, he must have done the pizza commercial after. I think
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
Gugliotta.
Yeah, Jerry Cooney's pizza doesn't sound that good.
No.
No, it was like Domino's, I mean.
But my grandfather, like...
Cooney was one of those guys who kind of like, Cooper and these guys where it's like, he's around.
Yeah, I think his two titles were like 82 and 87. He had two title shots. And I don't know who they were against. But he was very much in that thing of like, who will Tyson go against next?
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing is like, all these guys are really good boxers.
I know, but dude,
Yeah.
Like Cooney beating most guys up.
yeah.
Yeah, so Cooney, his last fight, he lost to Foreman in 1990. So he's already, but he lost to Michael Spinks.
Yes, that was it.
He lost to Larry Holmes. He beat Ken Norton. Beat Ron Lyle. Beat Jimmy Young, who had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. My grandfather was like one of those guys that was, looking for that kind of guy around that time.
Looking for the white man to claim what he deserves.
Well, it's Jerry with a G, so Yeah.
But it was funny though because like then it was like my grandfather would be like, Jerry Cooney, maybe Jesus Christ, maybe one day he could take. And my dad, he would leave. My dad would be like, Mike Tyson will blow the head off any man that stands in his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was going like to act like there's any competition.
There's none.
Is absurd.
Yeah. No,
Except for those guys where it wasn't like Holyfield and stuff like that, and then it did very much come down to
Mike's state of mind and body.
Yeah.
And that end.
Just the way it played out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Cooney only had 31 fights, 28-3. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Here's a great note from Boxing Rec. In 1978, Cooney fought Terry Lee Kidd, and according to the notes from this match, indications are that Kidd was delayed by a snowstorm and Rocky Gonzalez impersonated him.
No.
So from what I get from my grandfather, no joke, my grandfather had some kind of light friendship with Jerry Cooney. Where
okay.
he, as a doorman, I think in Manhattan, he was coming through, and my grandfather was a boxing nerd,
Right.
so he could, chop it up pretty good about boxing. Did I tell you about the time he told me that his apartment got broken into, and he goes, and then one day the neighbors started talking about boxing, and he goes, and I realized he saw my Fight of the Century poster when he broke into my house. He realized his neighbor broke in when he started talking about boxing.
Common.
And he's going like, "Hey, I didn't know, you were into boxing." It's like, yeah.
Hey, I was gonna.
How did you know?
You're pretty cool shit, man.
Never brought it up before.
Man, but if you robbed somebody and you just started admiring,
Yeah.
this guy's
all right.
Copy this.
Now that I see all this shit, some of which I'm taking.
Yeah.
I mean, I really appreciate this guy's curation. This guy's got fucking Hulk 181 here.
I feel bad he's gonna be missing some of it.
I'm gonna let him keep that.
Yeah.
Let him keep that.
That one's good for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So where we left off, April 1992, Fat Rick has got Mark Gastineau to 9-0. Gastineau has knocked out his opponents in only 9 rounds.
No.
It took Tyson 16 rounds to knock out his first 9 opponents.
Yeah, this guy's not doing first round KOs
Fat
every time for 9 fights.
Yeah.
First round KO. First round KO.
So how much of that is real?
0.
Fat Rick paid Derek Duke $600 to dive that first fight, the one I showed you. Tim Murphy was paid $1,500 to dive in the third fight. Kevin Barch was paid $1,000 to fight in the 7th fight, to take a dive. And Kevin Barch, his brother Sonny was also a guy that threw fights to Rick. Kevin would just work construction.
I got a good paying job.
Only
I
3.
take dives on the weekend.
Yeah. Only 3 opponents of Gastineau's first 9 fights had even been in the ring before. And only one of those guys who he fought twice had only been in 1 fight.
The fight he fought him before.
Only
one of
By
those
the end of it, he was been in 2.
Only one of those guys had an address.
The why?
So, Fat Rick gets Gastineau a fight that is for his 10th fight, televised nationally, ABC's Tuesday Night Fights.
Oh, good night.
Oh my God.
This is
Tuesday?
this
On
is
ABC?
big. Yeah.
Dude, if you're not watching ABC on Tuesday, what are you
doing?
What
Yeah.
are you doing? Fucking, what do you got, Sam Donaldson over there?
Yeah, come on.
We got a fight, I guess.
Fucking prime time.
Tuesday Night Fights on ABC.
Yeah.
Woo! That's the least known about sporting events in history.
Yeah.
The great Tuesday Night Fights
Yeah.
that would happen on
Dude,
ABC.
you know that happens? Only in America.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you.
fuck. Yeah.
Ooh, Tuesday. You've barely got the tip of the week in your ass.
We're halfway to Urkel.
3/4 to the balls.
Come on. TGIF is coming up. It's Tuesday Night Fights. Come on, just watch him. Watch him.
What else are you going to do?
Look at this guy Gastineau. He's white.
Like you.
Like you folks. Like you good people at home.
So, 5 days before the fight, Gastineau doesn't have an opponent yet.
Shit.
And
Is this Tommy?
hold on. And so Fat Rick, he needs to figure out an opponent for Gastineau. He does a bunch of coke, and at 2 a.m. he calls Tim Anderson. And he says, Tim, I'll pay you all the money I owe you. All of it.
The 470 or whatever.
$170,000.
All of it, Daddy. All.
He said, I'll pay you. You just got to fight Gastineau for me, pal. One more time. One more time for us.
Come on.
And Tim Anderson accepts. The day before the fight, Fat Rick shows up at Tim's room and, Tim goes into Fat Rick's room and Rick has a briefcase full of cash in it. And he says, you got to take a dive for me, man.
Whoa.
You got to do it. He says, I'll give you $500,000 piece of what Gastineau would get when he fights Foreman. And he said, I'll get you like We'll do boxing training videos, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Thigh Master, whatever you. I'll get you whatever you.
VHS recorder.
The Pow Power Wheels. You could drive around your driveway with your fucking special needs kid.
Yeah.
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 The Thigh Master for your wife.
Yeah, you know, with fucking flabby thighs and cellulite. What else?
One of them new grills that doesn't have a celebrity anchor to it yet.
I mean, it's going nowhere, but
Cheap, daddy.
And Don Hazeltine, the Florida boxing commissioner, he's like, I've seen these gas no fights. This is bullshit.
Come on.
He has the ref go to Tim Anderson's room before the fight and go, hey, I don't want any funny business. And Tim Anderson
I don't
tells
want
him,
any funny business. I'm a ref coming to your room. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't want any funny business. I'm here to suck your cock, but I don't want any funny business.
I grew up this mustache just for you, pal. Spit on the fucking thing. Come on.
and Tim Anderson tells him, he says, no, they offered for me to take a dive. I'm not going to do it. I could beat this guy easy. I want to beat him. And so
Here's the only ring I want you to take a dive in here, pal. Right here.
My fucking mustache is like a ShamWow. It takes off all that spit.
Right, and then I want you to ring it out.
Jesus.
Show me all that shit it picked up.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it went down.
You want to soak that shit up
Yeah.
and ring it out.
And
He has his own corner guy. Ring it out. Fucking mustache.
And then you can throw that towel in the ring.
come on, champ. I mean, come on. And so the day of the fight, Fat Rick calls Tim Anderson and says, hey, I'll give you $500 for your gloves and your shorts. Because Mark forgot his.
Oh, my God.
What kind of operation are you running here?
How many dollars?
$500.
Jesus.
Fight naked?
So Anderson says no, and if you watch the video of the fight, you'll see Mark Gastineau, and the announcers pointed out, he's just wearing cut-off pants that they cut off at his knees.
Are you kidding? Like,
Swear to
they couldn't
God.
just buy some at Big Five?
These guys are dealing in hundreds of thousands of dollars and they don't know where to get shorts.
Who knows?
What are we going to do?
Yeah, no,
And
Big
the- and-
Five is
Hold on, I got to
closed.
do coke for 6 hours to figure out the answer to this quandary.
Yeah.
We're
I gotta
gonna
play.
get
I gotta play
shorts.
keyboard and put my wig on.
And the announcers bring it up.
The announcers bring it up.
The
They go,
announcers bring it up.
Looks like he's wearing some sort of...
Ruin-
and in the Daisy Dukes.
Yeah. And they bring up, like, ruining their own sport. They're like, so what you're watching here, folks, is actually a guy that just crawled out of the gutter. He doesn't even have...
To fight this straw man candidate here.
yeah. So I'm gonna show you. It's round 4 of the fight.
Gastineau and...
Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson, who said, I'm not going to take a dive. Tim Anderson's just been chasing him around the ring. It's one of those things when you see a guy who doesn't know how to box.
Waiting for a guy to take a dive.
Well, there's that. But you see a guy who also doesn't know how to take a punch.
Yeah.
And so they start moving their body in weird ways that only opens them up. Someone who knows how to box, even if they're overpowered, they at least know how to ways to maybe
they
work
move.
around.
Fundamentals.
Yeah. So here's Mark Gastineau.
Not knowing how to take a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is his 10th fight, by the way.
Yeah, he's undefeated.
Yeah.
Won 9 of his first 10 fights, campaigning as a cruiserweight. He's 216.5 for this one. He fought Holmes at 202. In his next fight, he was down to
Anderson's
191,
big.
so he beefed up to go up against the 260-pound Gastineau.
Anderson is the left,
But now
right?
he's
Yeah.
been essentially a cruiserweight, taking paychecks
tired, though, from punching this guy all night.
heavyweights who are on the comeback, who are trying to pad their records. Foreman.
Boom!
And Gastineau goes down. The count is 7. He says he's all right. The bell will save him, and we'll go to a 5th and final round. Gastineau
Looks like
does
Lurch.
not know where his corner is.
It's right behind him.
What city he's in. The
Doesn't know what
closing
city he's
seconds
in.
to the 4th round.
Time
And
to go to work.
Gastineau is in
Okay, boss.
deep trouble.
He's getting slapped by his corner guy.
Wake up, goddammit, let's go to work. Wake up, man, let's go to work.
Give me some smelling salts, man.
He's fucked. Yeah. He's never been knocked. He's never really even been punched before.
And he got fucking clocked on the chin.
Yeah.
Go to work. The last round, you gotta get this done.
So
Oh, God. Doesn't that give you a fucking heart attack?
Yeah, dude, that's rough to see.
Bam! So the
Start saying religious things. Start
Yeah.
speaking Aramaic.
has to know.
Yeah. So Tim Anderson, they do go the full 5 rounds.
He lasts another round.
Yeah, I mean, I think Anderson was just gassed and, just couldn't knock him down again.
Yeah, they just held each other and slow dance.
Yeah, Gastineau is doing a lot of that. Anderson wins by decision. According to John Houghton, him and the ref turned and smiled at each other because they were like, well, we both, we did the right thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck.
like you didn't take a dive, and thank you for beating this guy and his scummy team.
That was really cool, man.
After the fight, Gastineau, I love when they interview.
We were the least shitty people here.
Yeah.
We're the least slimy motherfuckers here tonight, man.
Still slimy.
Yeah.
Still the green.
Yeah.
So
Man, my mustache is still ready to be spit on,
It's
sir.
still pretty slimy in and of itself.
Yeah.
after the fight, the ring guys they interview Gastineau, and I love when people who have just been punched in the face a lot.
Start talking?
Yeah. But before the fight, it was reported in the news
We're
that
being replaced. They started saying when they really think. I'll tell you what's wrong with immigration. All of it.
The people. That's how you gotta fix immigration. Stop the people that are immigrant.
Yeah.
Change them.
Yeah.
A different client.
Birds are a different story.
so after the fight, the announcer and the color guy they introduced They interview Gastineau, and Gastineau, according to the papers, had been in a fight with Bridget Nielsen the night before. And this is what Gastineau.
Probably took it out of
This is what Gastineau says about his loss.
Collect your thoughts right now.
It's pretty hard, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to probably get a new girlfriend. You can't have family problems and perform in the ring, as you know, and you know.
You certainly know. I know that you know that because you barely can perform at all.
And really have no family to speak of.
Yeah.
I know, you know, this guy knows what I'm talking
This guy
about.
knows what I'm talking about because I have sex with his wife, and then he can't perform.
This guy doesn't even want to call any more boxing for the rest of his career.
Yeah, because I laid such vigorous pipe on his wife.
Yeah. I
And-
spit on her mustache and everything. It was fucking disgusting.
My God, damn it.
I think if that final gob I spat on her mustache really took it out of me for the fight today.
Yeah, I was finally.
I really blame your wife, sir.
Yeah, I was finally able to look at myself in the gleam of your wife's mustache lube.
I went down a spiral.
Yeah, man.
You know they say don't look into a mirror when you're on mushrooms?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, your own reflection in somebody's spit in their mustache.
Same basic deal.
Same deal.
Yeah,
Really spin you out.
It's the next search term in Oklahoma.
Mustache reflection.
Mustache mirrors. Yeah.
So, I thought that was a fun, really strong way to end a fight by blaming your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my
Bet you
God.
she would have won.
Yeah,
You seen her?
yeah. So they do break up apparently.
I mean, yeah. After that, it's over.
Yeah. Fat Rick sets up another TV bout. Gastineau, this time he wins when his opponent goes down with an injured knee a minute into round one. He was fighting, I believe this is Sonny Barch. He was fighting with, another guy, but he was fighting with a knee brace on.
No.
And
Reschedule.
without Gastineau even throwing a punch, they clutch each and grab, and Gastineau puts his weight on the guy, and the guy crumples and with a torn ligament.
Wow.
And the boxing commission just, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
This guy is Mr. Magooing his way to a title contender.
yeah. Well, the boxing commission is 5 guys.
Yeah. And one of them is Jeff Galooly. One of them is Jeff Galooly.
And the other one's Frank Stallone.
Starts kneecapping people in the fucking ring. How the fucking Galooly get on this board?
Fuck.
Oh my God, Frank, what are you doing here?
Well, so to explain, because it's 5 people in the boxing commission, that same night in this other TV bout, this is a couple months after the Tim Anderson Gastineau fight, and Tex Cobb is supposed to fight Tim Anderson. And before the fight, Tex Cobb, he hurts his shoulder, and he has pain and swelling in his chest. A doctor writes, they diagnosed, and they said he shouldn't even train for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He can't fight in 2 days.
What happened to him? Is he on Arsenio or something?
That's pretty good. Now, Rick doesn't share this doctor's note with anybody. Instead, what he does is he goes, well, Tim Anderson's might beat him. Can't have that.
No.
I'm trying to work Tex Cobb up to a title bout. So he switches Tim Anderson for Sonny Barch, the brother of the guy who's the construction worker. And he pays Sonny $5,000 to take a dive. And Don Hazeltine he's dealing with this bout, and he's going, no, I can't let you switch a guy this late, right before a fight. But he gets downvoted 3-2 by the Florida Boxing Commission.
Fucking motherfuckers, man. Yeah. And that was all above board shit. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah. In round 1, Sonny Barch gets knocked down twice. The second time, he just takes a knee and can't get up. The ref stops the fight. The TV announcer says, I think we'll all have to cleanse ourselves after that one.
Oh.
Yeah. And this is why the UFC took off. Because, man, boxing was a fucking joke at every level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Year after year after year, and
there were peaks and there was a few peaks of like some heavyweights.
Yeah.
The Klitschko's, Lennox Lewis.
But oh my God, once the money was in,
Yeah.
it was fucking over.
Yeah.
Yeah. After the fight, both fighters, Tex Cobb and Sonny Barch, are asked to submit urine samples. Tex fills his cup with piss. Sonny fills his cup with water. Tex tests positive.
Wins?
Tex tests positive for marijuana. Sonny somehow tests positive for cocaine.
The water. Yeah.
That Florida water.
Oh,
This is what the Florida water must feel like.
This is what the Gators
Only in America.
yeah.
The Gators are on that all day.
The Gators fucking piss.
If your city tap water tests positive for cocaine, you might be in America.
You might be in America.
And London.
So that's like the Jeff Foxworthy talking.
Jeff
If
King.
it is tap water tastes positive for cocaine, you might be in America.
If your haircut is at a standing 8 count, you might be in America.
Bert Cooper fights that night, too, on another card. He wins. He was promised $15,000. He shows up at Rick's hotel for the money. Rick tells him, look, man, I already paid you. I paid you for the money went to training and the equipment and the $50 a day I give you.
All that $50.
My cocaine suitcase.
Yeah. And he says, I already gave you the $15,000 in small increments over the course of these last few months. And so Rick then he goes, get the fuck out of here. And he walks on the balcony. Bert Cooper sees Rick's little small handgun, picks it up, walks over to Rick on the balcony, puts the gun to his head, and he says, give me the money, motherfucker. I'll fucking kill you and throw you off this balcony right now.
Yeah.
And all people will think is, wow, Ric Flair really let himself go.
Yeah.
Before he let himself go.
Yeah. Ric Flair did a face-off with Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
And they became each other.
But there's like a face in.
Yeah. Bring your horsemen.
Rest in power, King.
Smoking Bert Cooper holds the gun to Rick's fat head while he writes the check.
It's shaky and covered in sweat.
Yeah.
Sonny brings it
off
and puts in cashes it or puts it in the bank. The next morning, Rick calls the bank and tells them to cancel the check.
That's how you get out of that.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of being robbed, folks.
Yeah.
This is a little personal defense.
But he was,
when they rob you,
He
write
show
a check.
up again with another gun.
Well, but he wasn't being robbed.
And you can make another phone call, can't you?
I guess you can.
I guess
you
you
know
did.
what? I only rob in cash.
He was doing the robbing.
What?
You robbed them both.
Fat Rick.
What do you mean?
We didn't pay Sonny the 50.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm
Smoking.
saying, but he was getting robbed at gunpoint.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying defend yourself, cancel the check, wear your wig.
No morals.
No, I have no scruples when it comes to fat
Your
men.
blue blockers on.
So
Bring your A game.
Yeah, so Rick calls the bank, cancels the check, then he calls the cops, and then he calls Bert Cooper's lawyer and tells him that if he ever tries to pull any of his stunts again, he will follow through with his call to the cops. And 1992 starts out much the same way. Sonny Barch shows up at Fat Rick's and asks for the rest of the money he's owed. Rick pulls out a check and tells Sonny to amend the check with whatever figure is the right figure. Sonny brings it to the bank. The bank calls Rick and says, "This is
No, it's not my handwriting.
This is weird." And Rick says, "Sonny's defrauding me." And then the bank and the police start going after Sonny.
Oh.
Sonny gets a call from the Florida Boxing Commissioner, Don Hazeltine, and he agrees to tell him the truth about the Tex Cobb fight.
Uh-oh. Whoopsie.
Rob Rusin, 1992, he resigns from Rick Parker Promotions. He sends Rick a letter that reads this.
I am returning your duffel bag.
In the letter, he reminds Rick that Don King's last words to him were, "Fuck you, Rick Parker."
Huh.
And
Well, we don't know what he meant by that.
No, that could be up for interpretation.
And he reminds him that another promoter said of Rick, "I wouldn't piss on Rick Parker if he was on fire in front of me."
Whoa.
Neither would I.
It's liquid gold, as they say.
Like I save mine.
It's a registered letter, so he went through the official.
Oh yeah, they know when it's getting there.
But the letter reads, at least part of it, from February 1991 till now, you've gone null and void on those who need you most. You've disappeared into your partying and failed to provide any stable revenue for any of your fighters. You've not burned the bridges behind you, you've exploded them. You have no friends in the business, only enemies who will do nothing to help you or your fighters because you've made them so mad. With people feeling like that about you, how can you possibly expect to succeed in this business? I can no longer afford the liability being associated with you. I feel like I bought a one-way ticket on the Titanic. I did well in this business long before you. Before I met you, I'll do much better on my own without you.
A luxury ocean liner, such as the Titanic.
Doomed to be sunken beneath the waves by a giant white piece of shit.
A fat white boy such as myself.
So Fat Rick, he says, well, fuck it. He keeps going with Gastineau. He wins 3 more fights in 1992.
12-0.
Any real?
No, well, he's
he lost that one.
12-1.
Because he actually had 1 minute of a fight.
Yeah. No. One of the fights. Oh no, that's another one later. But probably not. It's hard to imagine
That any were real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Fat Rick calls Tim Anderson. They've been split since.
Estranged.
Yeah.
Hey man.
But he says, Tim, I want to be done with Gastineau. I want you to knock him out. There's a clause in the contract that says if he loses twice, I don't owe him his expenses anymore.
Oh.
But I can still make money off of him. And
I would like that.
And he says, I'll fly in your trainer. I'll pay you $3,000. Tim Anderson's friends and family say, absolutely do not.
Yeah.
Do not do this.
Because you're just going to hurt somebody else.
And get hurt.
But Tim Anderson's a boxer.
Yeah, this is what I do.
All I know is taking my lump.
And
this is how, this kind of guy is how you get Daredevil. It's like one of these guys just loves to box and will deal with some shady guys.
By golly, I'd love to be beaten.
Never mind my son here, who's got his whole life and future ahead of him. I'm gonna take maybe take a dive or not.
Yeah,
that's the thing that Houghton brings up a lot in Years of Locust. Whereas everybody involved with boxing, this is normal to them.
Yeah.
This is all you're going. No. Common sense. Do not.
This is just the business.
All these guys are scummy. So if I want to, I like fighting.
Yeah.
He's got something going on.
Yeah.
It's just crooked as fuck.
But it's going on.
The whole thing makes no sense. I have to go to it like a moth to a flame.
I mean, have you smelled this guy's hotel room?
Yeah. It smells like shit.
Yeah.
It smells like
whole place smells wet facial hair.
It smells like sex dick and fucking spat mush.
Aqua Velva.
It smells like
saliva.
It smells like sex dick and spit stash. Okay? It's fucking disgusting. Sex dick.
It's like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Sex dick, spit stash, in my office now.
G.I. Joes. There's something.
Yeah.
Sex stick, spit stash.
Assemble. Got it, boss.
So, Tim doesn't listen. He
Don't pay no mind, Tim.
takes the fight anyway. He flies to Oklahoma State with no boxing commission.
Right.
December 3rd, 1992, a giant snowstorm hits Oklahoma City. A boy dies when he sleds into traffic. A man dies of a heart attack after abandoning his stuck vehicle.
How many people died of sex dick?
Well, it wasn't an issue back then, so no one was searching for it. Another man dies in a multi-car pileup, and then another man in a crash on the interstate.
Jesus.
It's a good day for boxing. 300 people show up at the Myriad Convention Center.
Is that a lot?
Yeah. Well, there's no regulation.
Is it a lot? I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
300 people? That sounds like
200
nobody.
people, if everybody's slipping to their death, it
Yeah.
sounds like a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I guess so. Put it that way.
2,000 came out. 300 made it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty good show, all things considered.
Yeah, all things considered.
Little boy died. Jesus Christ.
Just another.
Just slipped in front of a car.
Only in Oklahoma.
Accidents happen.
Made that noise, too.
Tim's trainer never arrives.
To the fight.
Not a good sign. He might have slipped, though.
A cornerman he's never worked with
Oh,
gives him water. Mark Gastineau is late by 40 minutes. Tim shadow boxes and waits for Gastineau to show up. Gastineau
Chugging
enters. Tim's chugging water. After 40 minutes, so Gastineau enters after 40 minutes. Tim gets in the ring. The colors of the arena seem brighter.
oh my God in heaven.
No.
Yeah. In round 2, he stumbles. He's not sure why. In round 3, Gastineau shoves him to the ground and tries to punch him. The ref stops that. But now Tim's seeing multiple refs.
Oh.
And now he's seeing multiple Gastineaus.
And dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some
Possibilities.
spiders on the top of this cage match king.
If only. He doesn't remember rounds 4 and 5 at all.
He boxed perfectly. He boxed the best 2 rounds of boxing the world will ever.
It was like Tetris, but for body parts.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
This bout was not on TV yet. There was a cameraman.
Oh, what?
Well, oh my God! What is this, like the JFK assassination? What are you talking about?
In round 6, Gastineau catches Tim with the right hand, and Tim's unconscious before he even hits the ground.
It's a sham. It's all put to 300 people show up. The fake
What's
camera-
going on?
Is this the moon landing?
Dude, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I know they
A
drove.
man in the crowd says, "Somebody get a doctor." Tim is carried back to his
Ashton Kutcher comes out.
Yeah. Tim is carried back to his dressing room, and he just comes to and he just vomits nonstop.
Fuck.
Tex Cobb is on the next fight. He wins that in 1 round.
Same night.
Same night. Only 2 fights. Tex Cobb wins the second fight in the first round. Crowd leaves. Rick Parker tells the doctor there that Tim is fine and went back to the hotel.
He's fine.
He isn't, and he hasn't. Hours later, the convention center caretaker finds him puking in his dressing room still. 300 people had left. The second fight had happened. Everybody had gone home.
Except.
And Tim Anderson was still puking in his dressing room.
Oh my God.
God.
It's the saddest.
That's really cruel.
The caretaker of the convention center finds him and calls an ambulance. Damn. He goes to the hospital. He remembers the lights.
Oh.
Very little else. The next morning, still groggy, he goes to Rick Parker, asks him for $3,000. He was promised. Rick gives him $2,000. Says
But he was seeing double, so I thought it was 4.
He says, "You fucked me over in San Francisco, so I'm taking that $1." Tim doesn't remember flying home.
Oh, shit.
When both men get back to Florida, Rick loses Gastineau. He stops returning his calls and his faxes, and Tim...
Rick gets rid of Gastineau.
No, he loses him. Gastineau
Oh.
stops responding to his faxes, and Rick sends him a letter threatening legal action,
Okay.
and that we have a contract, but Gastineau's people never get back to him.
Why didn't he? Wasn't he trying to get rid of Gastineau? That was That was excuse for hiring Tim.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Gastineau beats Tim because he was drugged.
Yes.
But for some reason now Gastineau is not returning Rick's phone calls.
Yeah, he's probably. I'm sure someone in his party is going.
Listen, man,
Come on.
this is.
Yeah, and also that guy was found in the fucking like Civic Center like hours like.
Well, no one
He
even
could have died.
No one even knows that yet.
Yeah.
When Tim Anderson goes to pick up his money from Rick, he sees his bout playing on the TV, and he goes, He's in his head. He's going, I don't remember this ever being on TV. And Rick Parker was watching the tape he had of the fight. He didn't record the Tex Cobb fight. He only recorded the Gastineau Tim Anderson
Why?
fight. I don't know if I don't think we'll ever know that. Maybe some sort of blackmail. Maybe just to
get
prove
hard.
it was a fight.
Huh.
You look at his search history, it's like drugged boxer getting ass whooped. That was his number one search.
Yeah. Maybe it was shame.
Weird.
Hey, you got beat by Mark Gastineau, right?
Weird.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Very, very weird.
Yeah. It was for a psyop later.
Yeah.
And that tape is not. That
Can't
tape
get it on YouTube,
Cannot. No. Or even Pirate Bay.
Even LimeWire.
Cause that?
By hand to God.
So they get back to Florida, and Rick Parker loses Mark Gastineau, and Tim loses muscle and days. He can barely stand. His body withers down. He has trouble. If he moves too much, the room spins.
No.
He eventually just becomes really emaciated, and he gets a job training strippers to box. And all the strippers are like, there's no way this guy was a professional boxer. He's so fucking tiny.
Did he fucking hit a gypsy with his car or something?
Terrible
It's
thesis.
Stephen King adaptation.
Okay. But it's an unlikely scenario.
This whole thing is an unlikely scenario.
I don't think it's that. I think it might be the drink.
Okay.
Mark,
That's a good point.
Thanks.
Mark Gastineau's next fight is against a guy named Samson. No one to this day knows who this guy is.
Big guy.
Or was. He has never fought since. There's no picture.
Abracadabra.
There's absolutely almost no record of this fight even happening.
Fly me to the moon like that bitch Elvis crammed him.
Samson.
I want to talk to Samson. Samson, smarty pants.
Tex Cobb, he's still fighting. He fights a black guy named Mike Smith. 2 weeks later, Mike Smith takes the name of a dead white guy, Shane Mooney. He fights another guy. Investigations start.
Appropriation.
Yeah.
Shane Mooney. Most definitely. Some
I
kind
don't
of.
really care because it's an Irish name.
Yeah.
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 Tim Anderson gets a lawyer, a man named Ellis Rubin. He's a pioneering lawyer in Florida, first guy to use the nymphomania excuse.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Who's that? What was his
Now
name?
you-
Ellis Rubin.
No, what was the nympho's name? Excuse me?
Yana,
I forgot to write
it
it.
was an absolute fuckathon, Yana.
The mustache.
Shouldn't think about anything else. You wring out their mustaches and the stank.
Oh, they were gallivanting upon in a bacchanalia of sorts.
He refuses. I think he spends time in jail for refusing to take on or defend someone who was going. He knew who was going to lie on the stand. This guy Ellis Rubin. He seemed on the up and up.
Okay.
Tim tells him his story. Tim tells him about this book that he's been meaning to write about boxing. It's called Liars, Cheats, and Whores. And the boxers are the whores. It was a Tex Cobb line. You know, Tex was a clever guy.
Good.
And Ellis hears everything Tim has to say about Rick Parker and the fights, and he says, absolutely, we'll take that case. And Rubin holds a press conference for the media detailing all of these things that have happened to Tim Anderson, all these allegations against Fat Rick. Sonny Barch, he needs some money, or I don't know, he feels bad or something. He calls Sports Illustrated and tells them about all the fight fixing he's been part of. In September 1993, this drops in Sports Illustrated, and I forgot to bring the physical copy, but I have scans of it.
Okay.
But the physical copy can be a part of our, profiles debauch collection.
Okay.
Oh, it's like you have.
I have that Sports Illustrated issue.
No.
Oh, okay. You don't have like the legal record of it specifically happening. So all of this is in doubt.
The Fifth Within.
So that's Tex Cobb there.
Yeah, we see him. Good-looking guy, hot guy.
And then there's Sonny Barch. There's Big Fat Rick with Mark Gastineau.
Yeah.
And they detail that whole night. And Sonny details other fights that he took a dive for Rick. And there's Gastineau and Barch.
God, the hair is just
Yeah.
despicable.
It's really...
It's really
Okay, so you did it the leg brace there,
a
yeah.
mean.
But Sports Illustrated, it takes months, but they do well, not enough due diligence, but for the time they do, and all of that helps to pile up against Fat Rick. Now,
The thing is, though, Matt, would you not
Yes.
agree at this time, and I believe this was the consensus in my home, far away from Manhattan, in a home of people that wanted to like boxing and very much adored the great heyday of boxing.
sure, yeah.
Especially when you are New York adjacent and you're going like, oh my God, fucking
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, blah blah. And
Sure, yeah.
And now you're just going like, no, Don King has it all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
When we do shell out and pay pay-per-view for a fight, we're always like, I don't know about all those judgments and like,
Yeah,
like
right.
it's just like
Yeah, there's a lot of
like
that.
the stink on boxing was there for so long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we can get into it after, but it was outdated for how much money was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should not have been allowed to metastasize the way that it did, considering the bouts
Yeah.
and the pay-per-view sales.
Yeah.
With that many eyes on something, they should not have.
How are these dead guys fighting and one guy fighting with three different names?
Yeah.
When there's no boxing commission in Oklahoma, why do those fights even count then? You
I
know,
know.
It's
But really, you're right. It is kind of like a borderline backroom bar hustle that is now able to sell on pay-per-view. And then you go like, the amount of money that comes from
It's
that.
like cockfighting on HBO.
Yeah. You're like, holy shit. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. But I'm just saying, even though that was, of course, proven expose, and that is good for the sport to get that shit out. But I'm saying, even at the best level, you're like, all of my favorite fighters are represented by Don King, who we all agree is an absolute crook.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't have faith in anything, and it felt like there was also no way to change it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Really.
So
yeah,
how
totally.
explosive was this? And I guess how much did it hurt them, or how much do you go like, that's just how it is?
Well, I think generally it was just that. That's just how it is. It was the guy representing Mark Gastineau is obviously he's not a big name.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he wouldn't be representing Mark Gastineau.
Right.
Now Bert Cooper did have some big fights, but even Bert Cooper didn't win them, so he's not a big name either. And so in September '93, when this
He
drops,
is a big name to me now. I gotta say.
yeah, no, Bert Cooper, yeah,
I'm such a
interesting dude.
fucking like Bert Cooper curious
Yeah.
person now. I'm like, I gotta watch this Bert Cooper guy.
Yeah. Bert Cooper, hold on, I gotta... Smoking Bert Cooper. I'm guessing because he was smoking at some point. The pride of Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. That's it.
Yeah.
Sharon Hill. Yeah, Bert Cooper fought his last fight 2012.
Dude,
Wow.
crazy.
Insane. He had
Not advisable.
64 bouts. Fuck. It's a lot of... And with heavyweights, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, yeah.
So in 1994, September 93, this drops. In 94, Fat Rick's boxing license expires in Florida. They do not let him renew it. He moves to Houston and he starts selling clean and goo. Well, because he's probably been selling it.
Yeah.
I assume he didn't give up the company.
Yeah.
It's our bread and butter, dude.
Yeah.
The
goo?
green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The green. Yeah.
The
The
green.
green.
Green will run.
Inside Edition calls Ellis Rubin and says, we want to do a piece on Tim Anderson and that story. The cameras are there that day to do the piece. 60 Minutes hears about this, and Mike Wallace calls Rubin with a better offer. He says, we'll interview Tim, make it all about him, and we'll interview Fat Rick. So they interview Tim and Fat Rick.
How tiny is Tim?
How fat is Rick?
I'm serious.
Oh.
Because the drugs.
Honestly, I don't know, because what happens is 60 Minutes interviews him without Rubin around. Then they interview Fat Rick. Then they interview all these other people involved with it. And 60 Minutes decides to cut the story down. They cut Tim Anderson completely out of the story.
No!
How? That's like the fucking most chilling, intriguing part of it.
Because everybody involved
Loves a
is
fat guy in a fucking red
well, there's
wig.
that. But everybody involved is just looking out for themselves.
Even Mike Wallace?
Even Mike Wallace
Even
of
me,
60
Mike
Minutes.
Wallace of 60 Minutes.
They think that the Rick Parker story, they have 13 minutes to fill on 60 Minutes, and Rick Parker's more interesting than a boxer.
He's going to catch more eyes.
Yeah.
I have the foreskin of a rhino. My story is much more interesting than that man that I poisoned.
But here's Rick Parker
On 60 Minutes?
on 60 Minutes.
Here we
my
go.
God.
Let's go.
Barch. Parker insists he's never fixed a fight and maintains that Rob Russin, Derek Dukes, Kevin Barch, Sonny Barch, Don Hazelton, and others are
Tim
all
Anderson, not
lies.
even in there.
These people that are making these accusations about fight fixing are a bunch of low-life scumball pieces of crap. Okay, liars, thieves, drug addicts are people that are motivated for greed or their own personal desire for gain.
And you?
They want to harm me, want to destroy me for their own selfish reasons.
Parker's plans for Mark Gastineau were destroyed on June 9, 1992, when Gastineau stepped into the ring for his 10th professional fight against someone who knew how to box and wasn't interested in taking the
They
dog.
don't even say
This
his
is what happened.
name.
Against someone who was interested.
They cut him
Oh my God.
completely. They don't even say his name.
Weird. What's up with that, dude?
Like, that costs nothing to say the guy's name.
Someone who knew how to box. Tim Anderson, the guy who we
knew how to box.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson. A waif of a man now.
Yeah, who's been poisoned by Rick Parker. Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Who fought someone who knew how to box? David.
Yeah, who
versus
knew how to box.
a guy who was big.
Dude, what a fucking nightmare.
Later in 1994, George Foreman wins the WBA and IBF heavyweight titles.
A-okay.
Tim Anderson isn't getting any better. Doctors say they can't fix him unless they know what he was poisoned with. Tim calls Rick's sister Diane and asks her to tell Fat Rick that Tim is writing a book and he'll give Rick $65,000 to talk to him for the book. Rick eventually agrees. Tim spends the night at Diane's writing.
$65,000 is $65,000.
Yeah. In anybody's money.
Mm-hmm.
Tim eventually agrees. And Rick eventually agrees. And that night, while Tim's staying at Diane's, he takes out a bunch of notepad or
Paper?
Paper, yeah, sure. And he writes notes to everybody, all of his family and friends.
Tim does.
Yes.
Oh, this doesn't sound good.
Just in case anything happens to him. Because also he's brought a gun.
Smart.
And his friend who helped him figure out how much money had been stolen from him, his friend helped him buy the gun and was worried, and he was like, oh, fuck. He's going to use it on himself, isn't he?
Shit.
So they get to Rick's hotel room, and it's Tim, Diane, Rick's his son, who hasn't seen in like 10 years. And they
who hasn't seen who in 10 years?
Rick hasn't seen his son in 10 years. He's there with Rick's
Well, that
sister.
happens.
He's there with Rick's sister.
That happens.
And Tim. And they start talking, and it's a fun little time. And then Tim whispers in Diane's ear, and Diane says to Rick's kid, and she says, "Let's let the men talk for a little bit."
It's time for me to make you a man, son. Your father wants me to blow you and give you sex dick.
Spit on your mustache.
Yeah.
Baby peach fuzz mustache.
No.
Yeah. Your father's got to tell this man what he poisoned him with, when we all know it was spit stash. Isn't that right?
It was a case of cock dick. By way of spit stash. Sex dick.
God damn.
Sex dick, sorry.
Damn it.
So Tim Anderson pulls out a tape recorder, and he says, I want you to tell me what you poisoned me with. And he pulls out a gun and says, or else. Rick takes the tape recorder and throws it across the room and smashes it.
Shoot.
Not a good idea.
And he says, look, I was just trying to get you dizzy. I'm not entirely sure. He blames another guy.
You got to blame another guy.
Let's just say I'm getting a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Years later, that guy would go, fuck it, that's goddamn fucking bullshit.
Yeah, Rick needs to
I had nothing to do with that. And Rick, obviously, he was desperate. And
you never know, though. In truth,
Rick did it, dude.
And so Tim tells him the truth, that there's no book. He just needs to know,
what did you poison me with?
What the fuck did
So
you
I
poison
can
me with?
survive, yeah.
And Rick can't tell him.
Is not it.
Because either he doesn't know.
Doesn't remember.
He doesn't remember. We never cared to know in the first place.
Oh.
And he eventually says, look, Tim, you're not going to die. Don't worry. Like, we can figure this out. It's totally fine. Tim relaxes, he sits down, points the gun down, and when he does that, Rick jumps up and starts berating him, says, why the fuck did you do that, motherfucker? And he threatens, he says, if you ever do that to me again, I will kill your sister. And with that, Tim Anderson stands up.
He's still got the gun when he says this shit?
Yeah.
Right in front of him.
Tim Anderson stands up, shoots him 5 times, reloads, shoots him 5 more times, reloads, shoots him 5 more times.
Holy
Now that's
shit.
15, Aaron.
That's going all 15 rounds.
And I've seen a couple of different things about this. In the book, it says that they found 20 bullets in Rick. Other sources say there's only 15.
Some magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some were magic.
And then Tim Anderson takes the gun and puts it in his mouth and pulls the trigger.
Shit.
But it's empty.
He saved 2 bullets.
He saved 2. Because he didn't even trust himself to kill himself.
Right.
He was seeing double.
Smart.
Thought he was seeing double.
You know who I don't trust is myself.
Mm.
That's me.
And he puts the gun in his mouth and he pulls the trigger. And it doesn't fire.
No way!
And he takes the gun, he points to the ground, he fires, and it goes off.
No.
He calls the cops, tell them what happened. Cops arrive, he puts the gun in his mouth, he pulls the trigger, and it doesn't fire.
No! Now this is some divine intervention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what divine intervention is?
Mm-hmm. What?
I mean, God came down and stopped these motherfucking bullets.
Shit.
That's right.
And that night, Tim sits down with the cops. He says, I don't want a lawyer. And he tells them the story. He says, yeah, I killed him. I want to die.
I'd love to die. I tried twice tonight, guys.
This is my Groundhog Day, Chief.
You gotta be doing me a favor here.
And he goes to trial. Oh, right. And he goes to trial, and the jury hears his story. He even gets, I think, a PR team. It's like one of the first times there was a PR team for one of these
This
things.
guy wants to die.
Yeah.
Please kill him.
This guy shot him a lot.
Yeah.
This guy shot him big time, and he shot him in a big way, and he kept reloading. And then he tried to shoot himself, and the gun was like, I know talent. I smell talent. And they shot the floor.
Only in America.
Thank you.
And the gun said, that tile has got to go. He pointed it back at his skull. The gun said, I beg to differ.
Rick's sister, before the trial, Rick's sister Diane writes a letter to the state prosecutor saying, don't give him the death penalty. When she's on the stand, she says, I'm not surprised Rick was shot. I'm only surprised that Tim did it.
Damn.
Tim wants to die, but the world won't let him. In 1996, he was found guilty of first-degree murder.
Damn.
Of a huge scumbag. Penalty or trophy.
The trophy. The judge, so the jury finds him guilty, and the judge sentences him to a life with no opportunity of parole. The jurors are upset about this because they didn't realize, for some reason, they didn't know the rules.
Oh,
And
what state?
Florida.
Yeah, huh?
First-degree murder is you're guaranteed life without parole.
Yeah.
And the jurors said, well, if we had known that, we wouldn't have given him first-degree murder. First-degree murder is premeditated, let's see here.
Worse, sir.
Decision to kill was present in the mind at the time of the killing, that there was a period of reflection after the decision to kill and before the killing itself. I don't know why you
So did they want him to get executed, or what was their problem?
No, they wanted him to go to prison and then
Get out.
Oh, because they were like, this guy's bad.
Yeah.
We like you. You seem nice.
We can understand.
Killing this fat piece of shit.
Imagine the jury coming out and saying we didn't understand the rules.
That's really, it should be embarrassing. Someone should be embarrassed about
And the state then being like,
Sorry.
Yep.
well, sorry.
Well, it is Florida.
Yeah, I mean, no. That's like seems like a very legal, like easy legal thing to counter, to be like, the jury didn't understand.
Yeah.
And they go like, well, I'm afraid I don't understand.
No comprendo.
And there was like before the trial, the original judge they had, who was a little bit more lenient, he got kicked off the case because he had
sex tape
And slaves.
He spit all over his mustache. No, I think he had made a ruling against some police officers, and that was frowned upon. I can't remember the exact thing, but the judge had changed. The judge that he got eventually was not lenient. So he was sentenced to life without parole in 1996.
Damn.
Guilty of first-degree murder, and new evidence has come to light about who the judge was that night of the poisoning. They thought it was this one guy, and this one guy thought it was actually he was the ref, but he was wrong. It was a completely different guy. And they found the tape of the fight, and some people have watched it.
And you can track down when the water was tainted?
No. But you can see that he's
Visibly drugged.
just stumbling all over the place.
On a mission from God.
Yeah. And despite all of that, Tim Anderson remains in prison to this day, and Rick Parker remains in the ground.
Oh, okay.
As John Houghton writes in his book, Rick Parker also remains in Tim's blood.
Yeah.
What if Rick Parker was so fat and diseased and drugged out that he just shot some of his own blood in that water?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rick's special water they gave him. Yeah.
What if we all started taking some kind of sick Rick Parker communion regularly?
Yeah. 100 times.
Yeah. Swallowing it over and over again?
And even some
How
of
do
the...
you, Rick?
Blood of Rick.
I completely forgot this part. At one point when Tim was in the middle of his lawsuit against Rick, a bunch of guys showed up in the parking lot and beat him with a baseball bat.
Oh, my God.
Jesus hell.
Sorry, I forgot that. But yeah.
Why? Rick's dead.
No, before
it
Rick
was
died.
Before. It was a lawsuit against Rick.
Yeah.
But it was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Definitely a
Absolutely.
coincidence,
Yeah. He angered a baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
With his bouncing.
It's pretty damn wild, man.
Dude, I mean, like...
What a fucking sad state of affairs in boxing, huh?
I mean...
Jesus Christ.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
This guy...
I mean, it's basically a fucking tent show.
And he could have, if just one... If Mills Lane doesn't do that 8 count, fucking Rick Parker's the promoter of the heavyweight champion of the world.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah, and he talks
We're
about...
lucky we only got Don King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have had White Don King.
Oh.
Yeah, we could have had somebody that killed somebody.
Well, imagine that. Imagine like a real criminal.
Like a murderer.
It's funny. It's funny.
Like a good man like Don King.
It's funny you say that, John. We'll cover that on the next Patreon.
Yeah.
Don King story. Not great.
Don King, not too good. So anyway, at the end of the day, Matt, you were drawn to this story because you said Rick is a good guy.
An idol.
Yeah. Somebody to look up to.
Yeah.
A go-getter?
For the kids. Fashion icon.
God, I mean, The speech he gave at the high school must have been like incredible, with the hookers surrounding him.
Oh, God.
And he's
I
covered
know.
in coke. If you're a kid there, you're going, yes,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do drugs unless it's with hookers and that guy.
Yes. It's, almost. Certainly all cops from Zig Ziglar.
Yeah.
Fucking Zig Zaglar.
Oh, boy.
Dude, yeah. You coming to Fort Myers? You wonder why we're backwards in our town, folks? This is the guy giving the fucking motivational speech, showed up with fucking
Sell.
blow all over his face and a bunch of goddamn good women.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, they could have been, Nothing wrong with that.
And then we're going, what
How did things go wrong?
What lessons do you want us to take? Huh? Come on.
But, I mean, I mentioned it to you before when we were talking a couple days ago about this. It's like Kenny Powers
Yes.
is described as like this guy, John Rocker and Rod Beck and these baseball guys. But it's like, here's a guy with a mullet who
Yeah.
talked just like Kenny Powers.
Yeah. They're all pieces of shit. They're all fat and they're
Fucking human
stupid.
trash.
Yeah.
No talent,
People are
discernible
saying-
talent whatsoever.
All of those 8 to 12 people that have dealt with me,
Yeah.
they're all drug addicts and fatsos.
Conspiring against me because they're jealous of me.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
look at me.
Yeah. And
big suit.
Yeah, they're all disgusting pigs. And
I'm also running for president.
yeah, and I'm cool, as you can see. But yeah, it is weird though that they were more taken with him than the very tragic story of Tim being completely.
Yeah, this is like, here's the rodeo.
I mean, holy
Yeah.
shit.
No, I mean, but 60 minutes going, well, we got 13 minutes. And
No, this is
but
TV, baby.
Then to actually not say his name is like, how does Tim Anderson not
Guy
go?
who could box.
Not go, was there anybody actually fucking looking out for me on any level?
Yes,
above me?
and the one guy that didn't go with the pantomime and the story was poisoned to the degree that it destroyed the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Which is also like a fucking like, I mean, it's like a fucking something you would see from like ancient Rome.
Right.
The one
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
the one person that doesn't do what I say, look at them now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he really didn't know what poisoned him, or do you think he was?
I think he didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I paid a guy for poison.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to keep fucking with him for years and years and years, it seems like it's got to be like biological or radioactive agent for it to continue to poison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking sounds like something Putin would give you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Novichok.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I don't.
Litvinenko.
Maybe some combination of the fact that he was drinking that all night while he was also boxing.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was only like 2 years, maybe, or maybe a year and a half or something like that.
No.
But still, like that.
It was probably spit stash.
Yes, but
Most people think.
extract.
Always, no one. ever thinks-
A lethal combination of sex dick and spit stash.
Spit stash. But I'm talking about
Separately, they're innocuous.
Yeah.
When you combine them together.
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Say for instance, like a John
Poison.
Waters spit stash, not a big deal. But if you go to Mr. Pringles and you wring that
Well,
out,
it's so thick.
and you wring it out all over a sex stick,
And sex dick can be any size.
and that can be any because that's not a big deal.
Uncut or cut.
I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
What matters is the spit stash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wring out one of those things. What was that guy with that sweet mustache that you introduced us to?
Oh,
That beautiful body. That beautiful upper body.
Was it Cortez?
Oh, the apartheid guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cortez,
Yes. The
Cortez.
blue-eyed devil.
Yeah. Definitely looked like an Afrikaner.
Yes. Yeah, he looked like a fucking White Walker, dude. With
Yeah,
those fucking
yeah.
eyes. You see those fucking things? Guy was fucking coming out of the fucking TV at me.
That's
Yeah,
one of
big
those
old mustache.
statues that follows you.
It was like the Rang.
I feel like he lost to like Lennox Lewis in the 90s at some point.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. and he's
Scary.
probably talking racial stuff.
Legitimately, I mean, Matt, kudos on this profile.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
It is, yes, and thank you, Paul. But it is, I mean, really, what a true horror.
Yeah.
Boxing promotion
Yeah.
that can easily get to the TV level with like the most sinister people in the world behind it, and not sinister people in like an organized crime way. These are independent operators that are like garage meth trashy guys.
Yeah, unorganized.
Yeah, unorganized, just good talkers.
Pimps.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking straight pimps. And like, to be able to go to somebody like George Foreman and be like,
fight my guy.
you'd be better off with me based on this bullshit I've created.
Yeah,
Look at my stable.
And George Foreman goes, yeah, you're right.
I mean, he probably just offered him a bigger version of the thing he was already offered.
Yeah.
Like, I find it hard to believe Bob Arum is that much better than Rick Parker. He's just been more successful. If Rick Parker was successful, it just means he survives all of this.
Yeah.
Because he was running. He had pawned his gold boxing keychain or necklace before. Like a few months before Tim Anderson shot him.
Yeah.
He bought it back after, but he's still he wasn't doing great. But if he had won that title fight, all of a sudden there's more boxers now. There's more fights. There's more money.
Yeah, for those guys, it's like comedy bookers where you go like, you just know the guy in Indiana might not pay. So it's like there is just like a thing where you're going like, yeah, that guy will actually pay if you go. So I would imagine that is the only difference, you know? Are you warm? Get your fucking sweatshirt on you.
You have a jacket on? It's all on you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, okay. That's my fucking George Foreman.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yes,
okay.
Okay. You like to get out of here.
It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Reagan.
Think about it. Think about how George actually talks. He kind of talks. He does. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna do that.
He kind of does the thing. Like it is so crazy because that's the Foreman I grew up with. When I did see When We Were Kings, and I saw old miserable Foreman, I was like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I grew up with like 90s Fox George Foreman, where he's always
happy-go-lucky character.
Happy-go-lucky. He's doing guest spots and all the fucking sitcoms and shit. And you're going
when you say old, you mean young. Like George Foreman in the 70s.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Old in time.
Old school George Foreman.
Young in his life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, I was like, oh my God, he's so fucking pissed. What the fuck?
Not a happy man.
It was a trip. But also, bigger perspective here, because I think we owe it to the listeners to talk about. During this rise of Foreman for the, to regain the title, how did he? They were saying in the beginning, you're going to come across Tyson. How did he not come across Tyson? Does anybody remember?
Well, I think Holyfield beats Tyson.
Not that early.
94?
I think Mike's prison term comes into play.
Yes. So 94 is when Foreman is when Foreman he either gets his title or I forget he fights.
Yeah, because I don't think that Holyfield Tyson plays out till 96, 97.
Yeah. So I think Tyson loses it. Holyfield either has it or he loses it to either Michael Moore or somebody. Foreman eventually gets it and he fights Michael Moore and loses. Michael Moore just dances around him the whole time.
I mean, it would have been fucking insane if we saw fucking Foreman Tyson.
Oh.
Holy shit, what the fuck?
Bloodbath.
Yeah. That would have been, yeah.
I mean, but like he was saying, like when Foreman was first starting to go back into it, it seemed inevitable.
Well, yeah, because Tyson was the guy.
Yes.
And everybody's going, there's no way.
There's no way that this doesn't end up this way.
Yeah, and also like what Tyson's not going to lose, so all you need is a guy to get there.
To me, even Foreman Holyfield is like, oh my God, are you fucking out of your mind? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, Mike was.
No, I mean, for Foreman going against Holyfield, I would have been like, holy shit, terrified.
Yeah, it is crazy, but he's the a guy like Holyfield or even Tyson, they just move around a bunch.
Yeah.
You know what I am seeing from this time in New York? It's like when you see the documentaries on like Gotti in New York at this time, and Donald Trump, and guys like this, you go like, they are all such petty small operators that are
blowhards,
that are like afforded an incredible amount of media exposure. Like, that is something so unique about that time. Where you go like, there's only a couple of networks. Everybody knows Don King runs boxing. John Gotti runs the mafia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's so insane. And it's also so insane how much money they were making when you think about how rinky-dink
their operations
were.
Yeah, yeah.
Mickey Mouse, you could say.
Yeah.
If, of course, Mickey Mouse was not the most
Successful brand.
successful.
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking about that the other night. Like,
Calling something Mickey Mouse.
calling something
Yeah, no,
Mickey
we were
Mouse.
talking about that. Yeah. There's one story of one of the Rick Parker fights. It was like four fights on one card, and the ring, an hour before the fight, the ring wasn't even set up.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could do it in the circle of chalk.
yeah. So eventually, just before the fight was supposed to start, they get the ring set up.
And what a fucking joke that must be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If it's taking that long,
Yeah.
it's fucking like what, from your fucking neighbor's house.
Yeah. Isn't a trampoline upside down?
The guy in the ring doesn't even have shorts. These are jorts.
Yeah.
Those are
Former professional football player, current professional boxer,
yeah.
type heavyweight contender, wearing cut-off Lee jeans.
Those are guess jeans.
Guess what he's wearing?
Yeah. Guess what sport he thinks he's in. Guess the Jesus Christ. Can you imagine being a big fat galoot and you're getting built up to fight George Foreman and you go like, listen, man, all these guys are going to fall in front of you, dude. You just got to be a big...
Because we are just getting you up to get destroyed by a real fighter.
Exactly.
Like, how do you sell that?
That's all we care about.
Yeah.
No,
Dude, we're going to pimp you out.
if you look at it, it's not unattractive to me.
What?
Hey, we're going to put
He
you...
almost got there.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, but also, like, we're sending you up there to die.
Yeah.
At the 10th time?
Yeah.
Or what, the 13th time?
The 13th
Give me
time.
12
Yeah,
and 0,
yeah.
and we'll send you your 13th fight against a certified hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You might get there.
Yeah,
You might get the paycheck.
You'll be like, well, he's old.
It just means he knows how to hit better.
Yeah. Well, okay.
But yeah,
Bam!
That's
We are sending you in 12 fights. We are sending you to your death, and you'll get money, maybe.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like he's telling Gaston, like, oh yeah, you've just fought Schmo and Schmo and Schmo and in the middle of nowhere with no one watching. Oh, now you're gonna fight George Foreman? But he's just telling him that he deserves it. And he's believing this shit. Like, how do you actually believe that if you've actually watched boxing and your there's no way he...
It probably just feels so good.
Yeah.
It's got to feel so good.
Just like Paul.
Yeah. Just like Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes, thank you, Matt. That was incredible. Give me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about historically, sexually, emotionally, economically.
Facial hair.
Well, sexually, he said.
But yeah, man. I mean, how these things go by and there's actually not like severe prosecution.
yeah.
And they're well chronicled in popular culture.
Yeah.
And you go like, that guy's got like Gulf War syndrome and he was just in Yonkers.
It's got Yonkers syndrome.
It's got Yonkers syndrome. What the fuck is going on here? You know, like it's really not fair.
Got thineritis.
Yeah. Fucking brought that back.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, dude.
All right, gentlemen. Matt, wonderful job.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to us all.
Yes.
But that was nice.
That's a good Christmas
Yeah, it's a
present.
Christmas.
Guys taking dives.
Sacrificing themselves for the greater good of mankind. What could be more Christmas themed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Swallowing your own foreskin. Oh. Time and time again. Tastes so sweet. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Sniff it.
Don't go after it with a finger. Well, folks, bring out your spit stash. It's the holidays with the Pee-Pee Boys. And I'm going to say goodnight.
Yeah.
I hope you all have a festering case of sex stick over this holiday season.
Is that George Foreman or
That's
Ronald
Johnny
Reagan?
Carson. That's Johnny Carson.
That is Johnny Carson.
Casey Kasem.
Is Casey Kasem. I wish you all a good fucking festering case of sex dick.
Well, thank you.
Isn't that all right? Boys, I love you both.
Love you too.
My name is John Fahey. I'm going to say good night. I love you.
I'm Aaron Pita. Good night.
I presume.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.
Happy holidays.